I'm in pain.
But I'm funny how? I ain't funny like I'm a clown and amuse you.
Oh, it's good to be back.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Yeah, maybe after 9/11 where everybody got so sensitive. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Hello, you don't know? It means all those fuckers know.
I'm as tired as hell, but I'm not going to take this anymore.
You can't handle the truth.
I really don't care what people think. That song is the only thing that gets me in a good mood for Wednesdays anymore. I like that song. Welcome back to Your List Sucks, episode 74. We're going to do a top 10 list of why everybody here loves the Joker, and we're going to talk about that movie extensively today. No, just kidding. We're going to talk about the top 10. We're in the top 40 series of comic book movie scenes with these nerds. Let's see how many corrections we get, how many oh shits, and how many actually this is this and not this, and this person's that's the father of this person and that blah blah. Yeah, believe me, it's been fun. Now we're in the top half. We're hoping to cause some controversy. Hopefully Thomas Scully wakes up a little bit and starts yelling at Robert. Hopefully Nick Carley likes his list by this point. Hopefully TWOHIG and Robert stop throwing little tit for tats back and forth and actually start swinging. That's not a real shot. That's just a little shot. No, like stop calling it a scene, call it a line. Let's fucking fight each other. You're here tonight. How are you doing tonight? You were frozen about 30 seconds before this. How are you feeling?
It was weird. Like I said, everyone else was frozen, but Nick Carley was not. So it was literally just this. All right, everyone be quiet. It was. Well, yeah, no, I see why you'd say that. No, actually, I'm from this part, and I was like, "What is going on?" It was good. I might be a little toasty by the end of this evening, but it should be a fun time.
Nothing's worse than nerds with booze. All right, Nick Carley.
Yes.
Your Steelers are 5-0.
Yeah, I decided to put a winner's hat on today, so
doing great things.
Because my list, I love my list, but I have a feeling everyone else is going to think it's hot garbage. But we'll see.
I mean that is probably true.
I'm just saying.
But if anything, just you have to remember there is a Green Bay Packer fan on this call, and they got their asses kicked, and you are still undefeated. So just remember that. And there's a Minnesota Viking fan that's hoping to Trevor Lawrence. So on that note, Thomas Scully, the Warhawk. Listen, you've been a little down these last few episodes. I need you to pep it up. I need you to be a little bit more fired up. You put 2 Watchmen episodes, and I didn't punch you in the face. So I need you to bring the heat. How are you feeling tonight?
Well, that's great because I have 10 more Watchmen. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Oh, shut up! You're 1-5.
He's also leading in interceptions. Shut the fuck up.
All right. Yeah, I think my list is good tonight. I think I got my best list yet, which I know is not saying much. But you know what? I might yell. I might get angry. I might throw a few hands. But let's see.
Real quick, Koho, who the Vikings playing this week? You don't fucking know. I'm just saying, if Thielen wants to catch a ball, he should dress in the other team's uniform. He's guaranteed to catch it. Robert.
Yes.
How are you going to do tonight? Or are you going to take a beating like Aaron Rodgers did in Tampa Bay?
Hopefully not. I don't know. I feel like we haven't been too too aggressive on this list so far. But now we're halfway through. We're in the top 20, so rankings matter a little more. Like it's not like, oh, I just wanted to put that on. Like now it's a little bit more serious. So I'm ready to go. I feel like I am very confident with my list still. I said at the start of the first episode, like I don't really care if I have 7 scenes from the same movie if they all deserve to be on. We're starting to get into that territory. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
And just to let everybody know why I talked about sports so much beforehand is because that is completely different than what nerds talk about at a table when they're exchanging magic cards. So that's why I was trying to bring myself into understanding, you know?
The realm of reality,
by the way,
yeah.
The Vikings are on bye. So they're guaranteed to not lose this week. That's a really good thing. Let's give it up to the Vikings. They're not going to win. Listen, Koho, I'm going to make you do some work. I know you probably already started your movie. Just take a pause. We're going to talk about next week's. Then after this is done, we have 3 episodes before our top 100 launches, and me and Koho get to take a break because I'm giving him a vacation. So if he bitches next year, I gave him literally 2 months off. So let him remember that. Week number 1, it's going to be the first week of November because we're only doing 4 episodes. We're not going to do the 5th. Everybody's going to. So best movies under 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. So look it up, figure out if you have some fans to it, you'll be able to freaking ace this test if you're on this episode. I guarantee it because you like some shitty movies. But come ready to defend shit, basically. The week after that, I totally forgot we did 2010's animated movies on our very first episode. But we did. That was going to be this episode. I decided a best movie protagonist. So best movie characters, basically. So come up with a list. Defend your list. And the next one, right before our break, we are doing holiday movies. It doesn't just have to be Christmas. The last episode was just pre-recorded. I want to have some fun, talk about all movies, all different holidays. So Groundhog's Day, who knows? So submit your list. If you want to be on it, have to be in the week before, not the Thursday after, the Wednesday before of the episode that's airing. So, Twig.
Yeah.
Talk.
Did you know the Vikings used to worship Thor and Loki as deities?
It's true.
And that is the extent of my Vikings talk for the evening.
Okay.
I don't know why you made the Joker joke because my number 20 is Live with Murray Franklin from Joker.
Okay.
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 Is this like the dream or never mind? We'll talk about that in a second. 19 and 18.
My number 19 is Tony's Funeral from Avengers Endgame.
Yikes for later this episode.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Robert has a death of Tony. No, that's not surprising. Okay, go ahead.
And my number 18 is What's Up Danger. I believe it's a yikes from earlier. And
Yikes. That's a further yikes. We're going to yikes that way later. Yeah.
That was one of the cuts, one of the ones that made it through the 260 cuts. Go ahead to talk about 30.
You want me to go back and talk about 30?
Oh, 20. I don't even know where the fuck we are.
Number 30 was Ritual Combat from Black Panther. No, my number 20. My number 20 is the entire final interview when Arthur actually gets to be a guest on Live with Murray Franklin. I think this does the best job of what the movie is trying to do overall and sort of show us the unhinged mental state of this character, in the sense that he's going in there with a predetermined plan, like a what's the word when you like think about something before you do it. Premeditated plan. Yes, that's correct. He goes in there planning to kill himself, and the dialogue is written so well. Robert De Niro is actually trying in this scene. Hadn't seen it in a while. It was great. And Joaquin Phoenix, this is 2010's Robert De Niro is like Dirty Grandpa and shit like that. So, haven't seen it. So, anyway, really good acting in this scene. He goes in there with a premeditated scheme to kill himself, but just through the dialogue, through what unfolds in the scene, you see how his mind switches on a dime to shoot Murray Franklin and start the uprising that is the end of Joker. So that's why I chose it.
Yeah. Again, bringing in Joker on this, if there was a different host, you may get a different reaction. To me, second favorite movie of last year. I said it last week. I love this movie. This movie makes me super uncomfortable. It's an exact point, and this is his descent into total madness. It's the whole movie balances between real and Arthur's life, like inside his head, like what is actual happening, what is not. And again, there's whole thoughts at the end of the movie that this whole thing was a dream and nothing really was real. I love how this scene goes because it starts at one point and like it literally drops off a cliff, like with like a few lines by Murray Franklin and everybody laughing at him, like in a way that he triggers him. And basically that line was like, what do you get? And then just, you get what you fucking deserve, and shoots, and then just to sit back and just staring at why everybody's losing their mind, and then when he walks out there and he's like the hero to all these people, like it's crazy to think. I think this end scene is great. I will defend this movie. I have no problem. I've seen it again. I have no issues with it. I understand it. It's not everybody's favorite, and it shouldn't be. But it's fantastic. Good choice. No one else gets to talk because this is fun. And did you already talk about your 19?
Well, the next ones were yikes for.
Perfect. Oh, and by the way, Cameron Redshaw, one holiday movie should get murdered on this. Bring it in. I'll make sure you get your wings. All right, Nick Carly. Go. With yours.
Okay. All right. Well, if any of these, well, one of them was already yikes, but if the other two get yikes, I'll be absolutely shocked. Well, my number 20 is the final sewer fight scene from V for Vendetta, as expected. Okay. And then my 19 was yikes from, I believe last week was the immigrant song fight scene from the end of Thor Ragnarok.
So the battle on the bridge, right?
Yeah, the battle on the bridge. Yeah.
I had that at 36, way long ago.
And
yeah, way long ago.
And that's my 30.
Ooh.
That's your 30. Okay, so we'll talk about it. And what's your 18?
My 18 is Superman flying around the planet to turn back time in the original Superman film. I know. I'm starting off strong. I know.
Go ahead,
okay.
Rick.
Okay. So, well, for my number 20, I really love this film. I've seen it a bunch of times. That's why I have it on my list. But I don't know, just this fight scene is always just, it fits the film perfectly well. It's just a lot of, it's very campy, but I enjoy it at the same time because it's entirely slow-mo and just, blood splashing everywhere. And it's just, I don't know. It fits the film. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't know really what else to say about it. I just really enjoy it. And it fits the character and it fits the story really well. So I really liked it.
Okay. What about your 19?
19 was the immigrant song, the battle on the bridge at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
Actually, talk about your 18 first, and then we'll go back to your 19 with everybody else that has it.
Okay. Yeah, I figured. Okay. So yeah, I know quite a few people aren't huge fans of this film, but I just think this is the standout scene in this movie. And I mean, it did a lot for comic book films. It was one of the first ones. So I guess it has the history, this quote unquote nostalgia part of it. But it just really showed the power of Superman, the fact that he's able to fly at light speed around the Earth to rewind time to be able to save Lois. So I just felt like it was a very impactful scene to really show how powerful Superman was. So that's why I figured I should put it in my list somewhere near the top. So,
all right, you're now 19.
Now 19. Okay. Just a super fun scene to end this movie on. The use of the song of Immigrant Song by the Led Zeppelin. Oh, I absolutely love that song. That's another big part of this, but just the whole battle and Thor getting his lightning powers back, and just that, and just the whole fight scene as a whole was super fun. So just it's a very great ending to a really great film. So,
all right, Thomas.
I really enjoy this scene. Of course, we start with the immigrant song that you heard at the start. You heard in the trailer. It's going to be a main part of the film. I like how it pays off there in the end. And then this is just Thor at his strongest that we've seen him, and it's frankly, it's badass. I mean, it's the first time we've actually seen Thor in his full, complete form. Without his hammer. And then, of course, you have everybody else fighting. You have Scourge having this sort of hero moment. You have Loki flying in, doing the whole "Your savior is here," which I laugh at every single time. And then Valkyrie also just badass.
Robert?
Yeah, it's hard to not reiterate everything but they all said, but I like how this showcases some of the minor characters too, like Hulk emerging from the water and beating the shit out of the wolf, and Valkyrie with the fireworks behind her, and obviously Immigrant Song. You see, Thor just kind of coming in from the side, and Heimdall and Loki have a really nice moment. It's just a really great scene. I have it a little bit further down just because, like, I don't think there's a whole lot of character stuff. Like, there's some like little quippy stuff here and there, but like the action is really the focus of the scene, and it's a beautifully shot. The Immigrant Song, obviously very iconic from this movie. It's just a little bit lower because all the other scenes I had above it I liked a lot more. But I respect it being this high. It's a really good scene.
Okay, so we'll go to 20. Your 20 is the V for Vendetta the fight at the end. Yeah, I like this scene. I like it less than most things in V for Vendetta. Like, I get it. It's cool. Like, the action's fine. But I kind of liked when, like, V, like, had his, like, monologue and fight, who V and all that was. Like, the fighting's cool, but, like, that's one of those characters, like, you don't need the action packed to sell that character as much as some other characters. So it's a fine scene. I think it's a little high, but I understand why, because it's a lot of spectacle in that scene. So makes sense. You're 19, the Immigrant Song. I am not a huge Thor fan. Like, I do not like those first two films at all. I think this is the one that saved that character for me as a whole. I think it's a great in battle scene. It's one of the best in battle scenes in any of the MCU movies, to be honest. Like, just because they decided to turn on the color on Thor instead of making it doom and gloom. They literally made it like colorful. So that was exciting for once. And those those little characters that have little moments, and like the giant wolf, isn't it a giant wolf? Like, whatever, running at Hulk, and you have those battles and stuff like that. And it's like, it made Thor interesting to me. So yeah. You're I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. I think Superman is by far one of the worst superheroes in the history of anything. Is his powers cool? Fine. Is everything about him so, like, old and need to be updated and stuff? Yes. Like, for a character to have glasses and take them off and put them back on, and they totally don't know who the fuck he is. I'm sorry. Robert, take off your glasses right now. Who's that? Robert fucking Parker. Like, put him back on. Like, that stuff's stupid to me. That stuff doesn't make sense. And then a green rock. I also thought this was such a cheap, like, thing at the end of the movie, because I did not like the first Superman movie, not as much as everybody else. But, like, the turning back, like, gosh, that's just
fair enough.
Cheesy as shit to me. Like, to save it, like, and you see everything, like, going back. Plus the green. Also, if, like, put me anything like from The Lion King, like Pumbaa, when somebody says, "Oh, look what it did for comedy." Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Like, it makes me fired up because I don't give a shit what it did for it. There's stuff that is better. Moving on. So, scared you ran. But
my Wi-Fi was terrified.
I hate Superman, so it doesn't.
That's fair. Okay. I know. But it is what it is.
Koho hates this part of me too. It's fine. If he could change one thing about me, it'd probably be this one. Scully, talk.
Alrighty. So my 20 is from Batman v Superman. It's the last Batman v Superman I'll have on here, but it's Batman versus Luthor's thugs in the warehouse. Okay. My 19 is Thanos destroys in Wakanda, and for clarification, that's when Thanos is beating up all the Avengers, cut with Vision and Scarlet Witch and the Stone.
Okay. So not okay. The fight on Wakanda.
When Hulk,
I think what he's saying is he's throwing everybody and getting close to Wanda, like destroys the stone.
Catches the glove.
Yeah.
Bruce, all that stuff.
That whole sequence.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
No one else has that scene?
Okay.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. And then my 18 is Cap reunites with Peggy from Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
All right. So my 20, this is just one of those pure action scenes that I have on there. I really like Ben Affleck's version of Batman, especially in this scene, because this is really the most kick-ass, badass version of Batman that we really get, where he's busting out all of his action moves, kicking the shit out of thugs. This is the embodiment of the Batman that we get in this movie, the 40-year-old Batman who doesn't give a shit anymore, who just wants to beat the hell out of a bunch of thugs just for being thugs. You know, it's like what he says to Alfred earlier in the film. There's no other hero but us. We are the only heroes left. Everybody else is either dead or they've turned bad. And he, instead of trying to fight that, he's kind of embraced that and become this kind of a thug himself. And his frustration boils over with Luthor and all his thugs here in this scene. And then, of course, when he the scene with Kniazev and the flamethrower at the end, it's pretty brutal. But again, that's what I enjoy about Ben Affleck's Batman. It's a different take on it, and this is just the embodiment of the Ben Affleck Batman that we get. Thank you, Doc. All right, and then my 19 is Thanos destroys in Wakanda. I chose this particular scene because this encapsulates how powerful Thanos was in the film. We've seen Thanos for the first 2+ hours of Infinity War. He's taken out single Avengers. He's taken out the Guardians. Now he's going up against the rest of the Avengers all together at their full force, and they're not a match for him. And the way that the Russo brothers cut this scene with Vision and Scarlet Witch having to destroy the stone, knowing there's no other way, it's incredibly well done. And then, of course, you have all the Avengers throwing everything they have at Thanos, Cap being the only one who can even show the least bit of resistance. And then even then, it just looks like Thanos is playing with him, kind of feigning, being pushed back and then just punching him into the ground. So it's just a testament to how powerful Thanos is, and it's easily my favorite Thanos moment in Infinity War.
Okay. You're next one.
Guys for Peggy. This is one of those emotional moments that I wanted to bring onto this list. Captain America is my favorite superhero. He's my favorite arc in the MCU, and having this be his ending, reuniting with the woman he loves, was the perfect ending for that character. I remember when I watched it for the first time in the theaters, I was so happy that this was the ending that they gave Cap. I was very worried they were going to kill him off. I was thrilled that this was the ending that they gave him. How even before the scene, when he's talking about wanting the life that Tony had made for himself, you then see how happy he is knowing that he not only was able to do his duty, save the world multiple times, but now he gets a chance to live the life he could have had if he hadn't gone into the ice. And Cap being the one who gets essentially everything he wanted, the fact that he's the one Avenger who essentially gets that, I'm very much okay with that because he's my favorite character, and I think he's the embodiment of what the Avengers stand for. So this was a super emotional moment. The 1930s era song that plays, I think is perfect. It's a nice touch, and it's a great ending to a fantastic movie.
But how do you feel? Never mind, I won't go there. Okay. So your 20 is the Arkham, pretty much the Arkham video game fight in the warehouse. It is the coolest part of this entire movie. It is the best. And that's why it kind of annoys me because everybody's like, I really like Ben Affleck's Batman. And I was like, I think you like the warehouse scene because that's the coolest part. You never get to see Batman do that besides if you're pressing the square button on PlayStation. So I get it, but those are those cool moments. I just wish they would have expanded on that. Basically every good scene in this movie kind of gets watered down because the movie's not that great. But I can't hate it. I think it should be lower though. But that's my personal opinion. But you got it on your list, so I'm fine with it. Your 19 is I'm surprised no one else had this because I really think this scene is it does. We're talking about all the way lead up till you should have went for the head, right? Yeah. Those scenes, that scene alone, I like Endgame. I think Endgame's a good movie. Like, don't get me wrong, but I like Infinity War more for like because Thanos is like Thanos. Like what we get in Endgame is not Thanos of this movie. Like I don't know what happened, but I think Thanos like is so badass and he's going through everything and you see all these heroes and like they have him and he's just shoving everybody out of the way and then you see Wanda destroy the stone and like he reverses it and you're like fuck and then all of a sudden you think yes we have somebody to save the day and you see Thanos should have went for the head. I'm just like, I still remember this moment. I texted Robert right after this and said, tell me it's going to be okay. Because I had no clue. Like, I didn't read shit. I didn't know anything. I was like, are you kidding me? This can't happen. And then, like, Infinity War will always have a special spot in my heart. Because I think what all this leading up to it, those two movies were fantastic. But, like, this one is so good. It's so good. I think it could literally climb to my top movies of all, like top comic book movie. I think it's incredible. And thanks to TWOHIG before I rewatched it, saved this actually because those deaths still mean something. The people that say, "Oh, well, you knew they were coming back," totally different timeline. They still those deaths they experienced. So, okay, I think that. Oh, and then Peggy Rena. I have a lot of problem with what Cap does at the end of this movie. I really do. But this isn't one of them. This isn't one of them. I think this is a perfect send off of that character. Pretty much the most selfless character inside the MCU finally took one for himself. I mean, if you think about it, like he carried the mantle for so long and said, you know what, this one I'm going to make right this time and be fine with it. And to see that happen, that's one of those cool moments. Like you can't hate it. You can feel like a little sad because you could have done different things or done something else or, stopped 9/11. Didn't do that. I remember that entire debate after when he did it. But no, I think it's overall a great time, great ending to that relationship. And he finally got the dance. So that's kind of cool. All right, Robert, start talking.
All right. So my number 20 was a yikes from, I think, last episode. I don't know. Maybe it hasn't been brought up at all yet. It's from Dark Knight Rises. It's the plane heist at the start of the movie. Maybe it hasn't.
That's the one.
But this is
the one.
Maybe I'm getting it mixed up. I thought it was brought up, but no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was the only one that was not brought up.
Yeah. Like this is the scene from this movie. But I'll talk about it in a second. My number 19 is the maximum effort on the highway from Deadpool. Him listening to Shoop, attacking the people in the van, all that good stuff.
Yikes from to the next episode.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's in the top 10.
My number 18. This one was definitely a yikes, and it was from TWOHIG, and it's Guardians Volume 2: Yondu's Funeral.
Yikes!
That's
Or did Scully bring it up? Somebody brought it up before us. Somebody.
Yeah, that's my context.
Yikes for next episode.
Wow. Okay. Then I'll talk about my 20, which is I'm surprised I'm the only one who has this.
That's my thing. Okay, go ahead.
I love opening scenes of movies that don't have a lot of fluff at the start. They just get you right into it immediately, into the characters, into the villain, into the plot. And that's the scene, really. There's sort of this, like, in the first couple minutes of the movie, there's like this air of mystery around Bane. They're like, oh, there's like this new mercenary guy. Who is he? And then you immediately get just some of the best Bane quotes of the entire movie. Perhaps why he's wondering why you would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. It's just like a great line. And he's like, no one who cared who I was till I put on the mask. And now is not the time for fear, Doctor. That comes later. Like, it's just incredible lines. I obviously didn't like Bane and like Batman and Robin, and like Bane has never been the standout Batman villain for me, but this Bane is so great. Like it was never going to be as good as Ledger's Joker, but this is a great villain. Like he crashes the plane and he's like, it would be extremely painful for you. Like it's just so great. There's an incredible score. The score over this scene is fantastic. You see them like siphon Pavel's blood into a dead person so they think he died in the crash. Like upon rewatch, that's a really interesting moment. And really you just get everything about Bane in one scene, not just like his lines and the voice and all that stuff, but like his men's loyalty and their devotion to him. Like one dude is ready to just stay in the plane and die, and he's like, "Did we start the fire?" Yes, the fire rises. Like just an incredible scene. This is the scene from Dark Knight Rises for me.
Is that the only one you get to talk about? Because the rest are your X, right?
Yeah, the other two were yikes for later episodes.
Yeah, so this is the scene that I absolutely love for this movie, and then it takes a flip and dive off a cliff and does not even match up to who Bane was. Like, I love the line is like, "I'll tear that off your face, will it hurt? It'll be extremely painful for you." And
You're a big guy.
Shit.
For you.
That scene is when he literally shoots the gun and he's like, "Oh, you're not scared? No, maybe he's wondering why you'd shoot him, man, and throw him out of a plane." Like, those lines alone. And then, like, his, like, the people that he has working with him, basically, he's like, "Did we do it?" "Yes, we did." And then leaves him in the plane to die. Like, we can only have one. It just leaves him. Like, because when that mask finally comes off and the score hits, and you're like, fuck, that's Bane. And, like, anybody that ever grew up with Bane in the comics or in the thing, he's a big puffy, like, idiot looking thing, and then Bane's literally the one that breaks his back and, like, makes him. But, like, this is the scene that I absolutely love from this. If I watch any scene from this movie, it is absolutely 100%. Especially when they take the plane and dive it, and the wings fall off, and you know that's. I think it's all practical effects by Nolan. Like, basically, like
a lot of it is.
Yeah, like, he does so much with that, and it seems so real when he does it. And you just see how badass Bane is. It started the career for Bane of Tom Hardy not being able to understand fucking words he says, but man, it's so cool. So
peaked at the Revenant when he's just
pants, got my pants. All right, we're kicking it off. To what's 17?
There's so many, and all
I am Bane. You need bigger neck muscles to be Bane.
So many movies.
I think the neck is the only part of him that fits the Bane character.
That's probably true.
There were so many movies that were just brought up that I want to.
Lucas.
Boom.
My number 17 is the first time we hear the "Why So Serious" speech from the Joker in The Dark Knight.
So this is to gamble?
To gamble.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The pool table where he's like,
when he puts the knife in his mouth.
He comes in a trash bag, and then he's like,
"Wow."
Yeah.
Okay. He breaks the pool stick. That's the scene.
Yeah.
We're hosting tryouts. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one else had "Why So Serious" in this scene, right?
Wait. Oh, yeah. I don't think.
Okay, go ahead.
This to me is some of the best acting from Heath Ledger in the movie. Spoiler alert, but it's just so good. This is the moment that makes Heath Ledger's Joker for people who are not fans of the movie. Like, I knew people in college that had posters of the Joker that said "Why So Serious," and I'm like, "Oh, you know who that is?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the dude from the comic book movie, but like he's badass." And I'm like, "Yeah, you." It is the start to showing how well detail oriented the Joker is by having himself be brought in pretending to be dead in a garbage bag, and he says like, "All right, 500 dead," and he goes, "How about alive?" and jumps up, and it's just it's such a good moment. The whole speech about like my father was a drinker. it's
so crazier than usual.
It's so good. And then it ends so well, like killing Gamble. The reaction from Gamble's like henchman is so good, and then the whole tryouts line with the pool cue. To me, it's just top notch acting. Some of the best acting in the movie, not the best acting in the movie, but some of it. And it really kicks. For me, it really shows you the full. This is the Joker. Like everything else that comes later, it's like, okay, we should have seen this coming because of this scene.
Oh yeah. I still can't do the "Why So Serious" around my wife because she hates this character. She thinks it's so scary and so creepy. But I absolutely love the Joker in the scene. We're hosting tryouts. It's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But like, that's the thing. Like, I remember when it came out and everybody was like, "Can he?" Ledger won awful choice. Everybody hated the choice. But then to also, can it be better than Nicholson? And I just laugh in the face of that because at the end of the day, Nicholson's terrible. Two, this is greatness. He's not terrible. He's just not great. In my eyes. This is literally star-studded potential. Like this is the best comic book character of all time, portrayed the best way possible. I think Joker is one of the best villains with the best performance, and the entire thing. As soon as he goes on that rant, and you're like, what the fuck? And that rant plays into later, and like it's so good. Like The Dark Knight is overplayed and overtalked about, and everybody talks this movie to death. But there's a reason why it still holds up to this day with his performance. You can say what you want about Bane. You can say what you want about Bale's Batman. You can say what you want about the story itself. But when you look at it alone, this movie will stand by itself, death or not, as one of the best acting performances ever given in any movie with Heath Ledger's performance. Regardless, Oscar or not, that he deserved the Oscar 1,000% of what he put into this character. And that's why Leto failed. That's why so many people failed after this, because that's why people can't top this character. That's why I don't think has real, they don't know what to do with him, because I think he broke. They broke him when they made this movie. So what does everybody, why did nobody have this one? If you have another Joker scene later on, you don't have to bring that up, but why not this scene? Why did this scene not deserve to be on your list?
I love this scene. I agree with you. It's some of the best Ledger acting in the movie. I just had a lot of Dark Knight scenes and Dark Knight trilogy scenes, and I felt like this was one of the ones that didn't stand out to me. And I like the other Why So Serious one at the gala type thing. I like that one a little bit more. I didn't have that one either. Spoiler alert, but it's a great scene. If you pick any scene from The Dark Knight, nobody can be like, nah, that doesn't deserve to be on here. Every single scene from The Dark Knight you can make an argument for, just like this one.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I decided to do Joker's monologue from this scene in a drama class. Safe to say, that was one of the major reasons why I never had a girlfriend in high school.
Did you do the voice too? Please tell me you did the voice. Absolutely you did. Hell yeah, you did.
Oh my God. This isn't relevant to our conversation, but I just figured I'd point that out because we're talking about the scene. But I do really like this scene. It just didn't make my list because, there's so many great Dark Knight scenes.
Yeah. And it kind of scarred you, which makes sense. Okay.
Well, I only have a tiny bit to add here, but I mean, it is an absolutely brilliant scene. I mean, just to add on, obviously you could make an argument for anything, but I do love the whole, breaking the pool cue in half and, this is your tryouts. That's an absolutely great ending to that scene. And yeah, it is a brilliant scene all the way around. There's just a few more that I liked better. So
cool.
Okay. Go to your next one.
Cool. Glad you all say you can make an argument for anything, because my number 16 is the opening bag robbery from The Dark Knight.
Yikes, big yikes.
For next
Right.
episode.
Cool.
okay.
Please tell me there's a video.
My number 15.
No, there's not video.
My number 15 is destroying the Old Bailey from V for Vendetta.
Is that the end, or is that the one near the
That's the beginning? That's the beginning.
That's the beginning one. Okay, then never mind. Okay, yep.
Okay, so this is the scene where he takes Evie up on the roof just after meeting her. The night he meets her, and he says, "I'm going to play the orchestra. I'm going to conduct the orchestra." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" And out of nowhere, the overture comes out of the speakers, and then the building just goes. And it's some of the most beautiful imagery matched with the perfect music to sort of juxtapose what's actually happening on screen. And it just describes V as a character. We just got to learn who he is through his dialogue and through his actions in saving Evie. And now this is him, when he fully plans something out, this is how dangerous he can be. And this is the perfect symbolism for the destruction of the oppression that V is trying to do in V for Vendetta. So to me, it's the perfect kickoff scene for the movie, even though it's the second or third scene in the actual movie. But to me, it just sets the tone perfectly for V for Vendetta, which outside The Dark Knight is probably my favorite DC movie, but that's not saying a whole lot.
That's fair.
because DC sucks.
It's gonna major focus.
It's really weird you said that and you didn't follow it with Batman Begins. Okay, or are you just saying out of the trilogy?
Top 5.
Fucking kill me. Okay. Things said can literally affect you on the show. So this scene's really cool. I'll give you that. The scene's very cool. Like you got to think about it. Like if you think about it from her angle, like this dude's a fucking psychopath because he's just like, yeah, like bring it, like what the fuck? But it's such a cool scene. Honestly, it sets you up for V. I honestly really do enjoy the scene. There's not much you can talk about it, but like kind of introductions to kind of a character, like in the way he thinks, is pretty cool in this one. That you can't do that. So have a good day. DC still sucks. So Koho, you're in the minority here. Like most people would not choose DC movies over Marvel. Sorry. You can grow up and grow out of things. Everybody else on the scene, go ahead.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite scene in V for Vendetta, simply because this is the intro to V. This is when we first see him, and we're just taken by surprise as to how sadistic he is, but also how methodical he is. This again, it's been a while since I've watched V for Vendetta. If I had rewatched it, this again probably would have made my list. So you can probably put this in the oh shit counter if you want. But this is such a good scene, and you could see it from either his perspective or from Evie's perspective, and it holds up either way. So yeah, this is a great pick.
I think this is V's intro. If V's intro didn't already exist in the scene before this one, and that's the scene that I picked from this movie. I do. That was more of a dig at Scully than Twig. Cody, you told us to get bloody. I'm sorry, Scully.
Snark attack.
Cody, you told us to.
I know. Let it go.
But I like the scene that happens before this one way more than this scene. This scene is very good visually. It's very good. The music is perfect, like you said, pitch perfect. But I like the scene where he's just sort of spouting off dialogue a little bit more than this one.
And I'm in the same boat too. I like that alleyway scene quite because I think it fit his character. I mean, that is a very fun, like beautiful scene, and seeing the Old Bailey just blow up in fireworks with the music was a very fun part of the movie. But like jumping on Robert's bandwagon here, I enjoyed the alleyway scene a little better.
Yikes, Paul. Yikes.
It's a massive yikes. I guess you can call me V. Oh God!
I hope you moved away because that person's probably going to start blowing up. No, I'm not sure. That's a weird way to start. Can you imagine sitting there and start hearing? I heard this. V for Vendetta. Yeah. What's your next one?
Then at the end, he's like, "Why are you all so serious?"
I'd run.
My number 14 is the opening of X2, X-Men United, Nightcrawler's attack on the White House.
Kind of yikes. Like
what does that mean?
Is it in the same range?
Through 14?
It's in my 17 through 14.
Okay. Well, how do we do this? I always think like we do it wait till Scully, or what do we do, Koho?
Co-hosted.
Wait till Scully, I thought.
Do it now?
Higher.
Now, he said.
Do it now. Okay, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
So okay, Scully, you'll talk, and then we'll go to Scully next.
Okay.
It's like I'm doing the show for 74 episodes. Still don't fucking know how this whole thing works. That's why Koho's here every week.
This is the scene, our introduction to Kurt Wagner as a Nightcrawler, the by far best character in the original X-Men trilogy, and I will stand by that. Think about it. Let me backpedal a little bit. Let me backpedal a little bit and say I'm gonna not count Magneto and Professor X. But
okay, thank you. Then you might have.
I forget about those two so often, which is crazy. Nightcrawler, the by far at least third best character in the X-Men trilogy. the original X-Men trilogy. This is Attack on the White House. To me, it's the best showing of mutant powers in those original three. The most creative way to use them. The first X-Men to me doesn't hold up as much. It never really shows a good use of someone's powers outside maybe Mystique. And we all know about X-Men 3 and how shitty it is. But this is great, and it's very well choreographed. The fact that he can get all the way into the most secured building in the country without even a second to hesitate, like he doesn't even have to think about it. Yes, he's under mind control, but the fact that he gets all the way up to the president before realizing where he's at and vanishing really kicks off the conflict for X2 and shows us how powerful of a mutant Nightcrawler is, to where we learn about him later. It makes it all that much more annoying. Oh my gosh, it's sort of like the Hulk in Age of Ultron, when it's like you could win the fight, but you don't want to. It's awesome.
Yeah, this was my 17. X2, I think, really was the first sort of comic book film sequel to really kick it off with a bang. You introduce a new character. You basically take everything from your first film, not necessarily cast it aside, but instantly improve upon it. And with just one character in one place in one scene. Nightcrawler kicks so much. Like, it just takes you by surprise the first time you watch it. Because if you're someone who hasn't read the comics, you have no clue who Nightcrawler is. You're in your seat, shell-shocked, wondering who is this being and how the hell is he flying through all these Secret Service men until he gets within an inch of killing the president before he's stopped. I think overall this is more of a testament to how good of a villain Stryker is, to how he can manipulate this mutant, a powerful mutant like Nightcrawler, and make him do something as sadistic as this, and then having Stryker go to the White House and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I know how I can fix this for you." It's what makes Stryker such a good and frankly terrifying villain. But this really was the first comic sequel to really sort of suck everyone's attention in with that opening scene, while also creating something new along with it. So yeah, I really I love this scene.
Yeah, this is the only scene from the original X-Men trilogy that I like serious. What?
Cody,
did you have it?
Oh, I thought everybody was talking. No, fuck, I forgot Scully had it. I'm sorry. Cody banned me.
Oh no.
Oh.
All right. Okay. So X2. You can pick a lot of scenes from X2. I still stand by. I think it's the best X-Men movie. Team X-Men movie out there. And it shows how great Stryker really is. Stryker is that one character that goes through pretty much every X-Men movie. Some good, some bad. But at the end of the day, I think Brian Cox is a brilliant what he was able to do with Nightcrawler there to get him all the way through the White House and to that scene. And what is it? Mutant freedom now? Is that the line? Is that okay? Just 2 points. Thank you. So like that is like when the knife is, because I wasn't the biggest fan of Nightcrawler when I was watching the show and reading the comics, but like of his powers, it's probably one of the coolest. And it's so the fighting scenes that they could do, how that still holds up. What is it, 2003 when that movie came out?
Mm-hmm.
From that, how those effects still hold up, and there's some effects that are earlier 2000s that don't even come close to it. The Nightcrawler fight scene in the White House is so sweet, and yeah, I think it's an incredible scene. There's a lot you can choose from, and I think that's probably one of the correct ones. Two people didn't have it. Now, Robert, talk.
Sorry. This is the only scene from the original trilogy that I genuinely, like, realistically considered. Like, there were a couple others I thought of that was, oh, that's a good scene, but, like, really heavily considered being on my list. It didn't end up putting on really just because I thought that there were other scenes from X-Men movies that I like more. I really like this movie. I agree the effects hold up brilliantly. I was just ranting about how I love opening scenes, and this is a great opening scene. I love Nightcrawler as a character. And it's a great scene. I just didn't have it. It was one of the last probably like 5 or 10 cuts, so it would be in my top 50, but not top 40. just barely doesn't make it in there for me.
Fair.
Yeah, and when it comes to the original X-Men series, I do really enjoy X2, but it's just the films that I just barely haven't watched in a while, so it didn't come to mind when making this list. But I will say that is an absolutely great fight scene, just especially how it was choreographed and edited and whatnot. It was actually very, very well done. So I understand it being on somebody's list. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Nick, it's your turn.
Okay. 17. This was yikes from a previous episode. It was Thor arriving in Wakanda in Avengers Infinity War.
Yikes for later this episode.
Okay.
Well, yikes for the next episode.
Okay.
It's in the top 10, everybody. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. My 16, I would say this is my most basic bro pick, but I wanted to put it in this list anyways, was the This Is Sparta speech from 300. Yeah.
That's the kick, right?
Yeah, that's the kick. The kick into
Fucking
the. Yeah.
right. Let's do it, Nick. Let's talk.
All right. Anyways, I don't know. I like I've talked about with my initial 300 pick earlier. I really like this movie probably more than most people. And this one is just, you know, Gerard Butler just having way too much fun and, you know, just completely hamming it up and getting into this character and just having one of the most iconic lines that literally, if you say this to anyone, you know, the majority of people will know what you're talking about. And just, you know, the slow-mo kick with him falling into the, you know, endless pit. And his is like, this is madness. Why are you doing this? And it's just, it fits in. It's just a really good climax of this movie because you're like, okay, shit's about to go down now. So that, and it's just super fun. I don't know. I had to put it somewhere and I felt like it deserved to be in the top half. So I thought I'd throw it in here. So,
Listen.
Yep.
8th grade me couldn't agree more with you, buddy. This shit's magic.
Wow, that's fun. Okay. I honestly thought I'd get crap for this one. All right.
Hell no. I remember watching this and fucking. Now, this spanned a lot of fucking awful people. Like, this made people think Zack Snyder could make movies, and that's the mistake that happened.
That's fair. Yeah.
But
this is what got him Sucker Punch.
I just love nothing will ever. Yeah, this is the.
Hey, strike that one.
Gerard Butler in this scene always seems like he has a mouthful of marshmallows because, like, his. He doesn't. You understand what he's saying, but it's so like. I just love that scene when he looks at it. This is madness, and he just like looks over at her, and looks over at his wife, and goes,
madness.
That's, and then just kicks the shit out. And then you see everybody else like in this like stunt class. Like everybody took their stunt class training that day and was doing a full like overflips into that pit. And I was just like, this. I was like, let's fucking go. I think in 2006, I may have watched this movie 14 times. It was so incredible that time. It's aged, and it's not great. But this scene, hell yeah. I'll probably watch it while you're all talking, just so I can appreciate it more. What does everybody else think about This Is Sparta?
It's good.
It's way too high.
It's good, but like who cares?
If this was in your bottom 5, sure, but 16's really high.
When I was in elementary school, I used to reenact this scene.
Did you also pick your friends off canyons or what?
Well, sometimes
they're on top of the monkey.
Do they have those in Illinois? Do they have canyons do they have classic friend kicking canyons or what?
God. No. So it'd be like that little step you get on before you get on the monkey bars. When we get on the step.
Let's see. You just boot your friends off of it. Is that also why you didn't have a girlfriend in elementary school? Is that what that was?
You got it right there. Well, yeah, this seems a bit high.
Okay.
It is a good scene.
Fair enough. All right, and then I guess my 15. My 15 was yikes, I believe, by TWOHIG. It was the final hallway fight scene from Kick-Ass. Was that TWOHIG or was it, I thought someone yikes that? Did they?
No, I had a different.
You yikes that TWOHIG had it though.
I had a different scene.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was the same scene. I mean, this is the very final, her coming
I
into
was talking about a different one. So.
Okay, I was like her coming into the office and then just basically that until So okay, I'll go ahead and talk about it then. I don't know. I just Kick-Ass is one of those movies I liked immediately when I watched it, and I always enjoy going back and watching it every now and again. And it's just a very well choreographed fight scene. It's very flashy, yes, but I thought it was very well done. And seeing Chloe Grace Moretz just kick all those guys' asses, and then it ending with Kick-Ass flying up in a jetpack and shooting Mark Strong with a rocket, and I just that whole scene fit the I'm gonna stop saying it even though I've said it every time, but it fits the movie. Anyways, so it's just super fun, and I thought it was very well choreographed, and it capped off the movie very well to me.
So should I talk about the one that I had last week, or? Yeah,
my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was different.
I had Hit Girl's sort of introduction when Kick-Ass sort of goes to, I forget the dude's name who's like terrorizing his girlfriend. He goes to his apartment and it's like, leave her alone. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then Hit Girl shows up and does that, and then Big Daddy's on the outside and like shoots the guy and is like, always watch your corners.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Similar reasons. I think the choreography is great. I think the shock value of who Hit Girl is, like in that scene you're talking about, Nick, the fact that she comes in like a little girl out of school who's like lost, and then like the guy turns and she's got like a gun in his mouth. Like it's the shock value of Kick-Ass. And to me, the apartment scene is the first time that it happens. It shows you the gore of the movie that you're going to get, as well as the tone. So that's why I picked that one.
So we were miscommunicated, right? So we have two different scenes here.
Yeah, that's
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Kick-Ass fan of both of them. By the way, 16 is not too high for 300. Just rewatch the scene. It could have been top 10. It's fantastic. You've chosen your words. I've chosen my words. It's great. It's fantastic. No, I'm not the biggest girl. I think both scenes are very good from Hit Girl. I like the first. I think it's the first scene where she just. The first scene is Nick's scene. The first scene is TWOHIG'S scene, correct?
Yes.
Of the introduction of Hit Girl, where she's like, killing everybody. Yeah, I think I like that scene a little bit more because I guess it's a little bit of the shock value too, of like what she's doing. The end scene's pretty cool too, but again, I'm not the biggest fan of Kick-Ass in general. What does everybody else think about both scenes now?
I like both scenes equally. I think both are. I think both are equally as good because they offer different things. The first scene, again, is the shock value of seeing, who Hit Girl is. She's just this small girl who's just killing everybody. And you're just like, what the fuck am I watching? And then the second one is the hallway scene, and you know what you're about to get, but you don't know. Essentially, you know what you're going to get, but then you don't know. Because this is Hit Girl after her father is killed, so this is a completely enhanced, unhinged Hit Girl. So this takes it to a whole nother level. But I do like both equally. Again, I think Kick-Ass is a good movie. They're just these two scenes just weren't good enough to make my list.
I like both these scenes. I prefer the apartment scene. Between the two, I just think the shock value and the gore, it gets you more into the movie than the final scene does. Final scene is still really good. I like sort of Red Mist's fight with Kick-Ass, like that. That's a cool little scene. The jetpack is like a fun little thing. So both scenes are very good. Both scenes definitely Chloe Grace Moretz steals the scene in both of them. I just prefer the apartment one. Still, neither of them were high enough to make my list.
Scene's so good. Okay.
You're still watching 300, aren't you?
Yes, he is.
I watched it a couple times. I've chosen my words carefully, person. Maybe you should have done the same. Oh, kick that bastard down that hole. Go to your next one, Nick.
All right. My 14, I called it a tunnel, but I guess it's more of a hallway. It's the hallway axe fight from Old Boy 2003. No. Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, I don't know. This was my first foray into like Korean or like international like action films like this, and this scene just absolutely nails it. Because it's one dude that walks into a hallway with about like 30 some guys that are all trying to kill him, and it's just shot from the side, and it's all continuously one take. It's absolutely brilliant. But I don't know. It's just and it's one of the most realistic fight scenes you'll ever watch, because you see, they all get through him, and then he sneaks away and does all this different stuff. It's like that's what really stuck out to me, is because it's super realistic. It's exactly how like a fight you would see if one guy was trying to take on a whole bunch of people by himself, and he just happens to have an axe, and so he knocks a couple people around, and it's pretty great. So I that scene's just always stuck out to me, and that movie's very good if you haven't seen it before.
So I have not seen this movie,
That's right.
so I wasn't going to watch a scene from a movie I haven't seen. Like,
Okay.
unless you guys got it in the top 10, I would try to watch your movies. But this is one was on my radar, and then I started doing other things. So haven't seen it, but it sounds cool. Anybody else? Has anybody else seen Old Boy from 2003?
I wish, but I have not.
Version.
This is one of the one that has eluded me.
Damn. Okay. Well.
Have you seen it, TWOHIG?
No.
Damn.
Okay.
Right. Well,
So no offense, we will
Okay.
skip on.
that's fair. No problem.
Scully. So
All
you don't get
right,
shit on for it, so that's really good. You get a pass.
I believe you that it probably does deserve to be in the top 20. Like that sounds about right from what I've heard about the movie.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
All right.
worries.
My 17 was already said. That was the Nightcrawler. My 16, it is the Freebird scene from Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Episode.
Yikes for next
episode?
Mine's this episode. Nick's is
Mine is next episode.
This is scored is better. Okay, move on.
My 15 is Logan's death from Logan. So purely the death.
Yikes for next episode.
mine.
Okay.
You don't get to fucking talk.
All right, can we go 4 for 4? Can we go 4 for 4? And 14 is Batman from Batman Begins.
Fucking right. Yes. I needed this on someone's list.
For clarification, this does include him taking out Falcone's goons
On the docks, yeah.
on the docks.
Oh, very so. Basically, him becoming the knight. Yeah, let's
I
fucking
put that
go.
down because
I never liked Thomas Scully more than right now. Let's do this.
all right. Yeah, so I absolutely love Batman Begins. This is my favorite scene from Batman Begins. This is the culmination of everything that's led up in the movie so far to him becoming Batman. It's his first encounter with a massive group of thugs like this, and just kind of the silent ways he's able to take out all of Falcone's goons by, dragging one into a box or taking some out from above, knocking out the lights with his batarang. And you know what he's doing because Batman, and you've seen these kinds of things before, but it's the subtlety of how he does it, and it's the terror you kind of feel, even though he's the good guy, but also you, the audience, are feeling the fear along with Falcone's goons. And that's what I love with what Nolan was able to do with Batman, is that you, along with his victims, are experiencing the fear and the terror that Batman wants to inflict upon his victims. And then at the end, when he pulls Falcone straight out of his car so that Batman just headbutts him, that's one of the most just fuck yeah moments in a comic book film. You just can't help it but just stand up and just give a standing ovation to Batman, Nolan, just everybody behind that scene.
Do I get to talk? Okay, fucking let's go. What the hell are you? And then when he pulls him out of that fucking bag, he goes, I'm Batman. And that music hits, and he headbutts him, and then looks at the guy and goes, nice coat. Oh, it's so cool. I love this movie more than probably most. I know there's some that put The Dark Knight way higher. I think this movie is absolutely incredible. And it's classic, just Batman, where he's taking out one by one and no one knows what's happening. Like, he is just, it's the first time we get to hear the I'm Batman. You can hate his voice all you want. I was fucking pumped when I heard it. I thought it was cool. I wanted to see. See, you all sent your list. I sent them to Koho. I didn't really look at them too far into it because I want that kind of like surprise thing that happens. And yeah, well done. This is a fantastic scene to have it. What the fuck's wrong with you guys? Why don't you have Falcone getting headbutted? Let's go. The fear in his eyes when Vail pulls him out. Oh, nothing better.
Was that a Freudian slip there? Did you call him Bane? Voices.
I always say Bane when it's trying to say Vail.
Is it because both their voices are dumb and you just get them confused sometimes?
Oh, fight.
I will leap up in the air and headbutt you.
I'm saying the dude's been throwing Watchmen and Batman v Superman at you for 2 weeks, but he says Batman Begins, and suddenly you're fine.
It was higher. It was higher.
And he fucking redeemed himself. All right, let's go.
This is actually a very good scene, but I'm just not as high on Batman Begins as other people. I think much better scenes come later in the series, at least, if not the movie. Just not for me. The headbutt, to me, maybe I need to look at it again, but it feels somewhat anticlimactic because he's just like, yeah, I said it.
I'm extremely pro Batman Begins. Love this scene. It's the first scene. It's the first time in the trilogy that we see him as Batman. It really great scene. Instead, I chose the Falcone Barr scene. I was kind of torn between the two. I like that scene better just because, I think in the motivation of the character, that's the scene where he chooses to become Batman. This is him fully fleshed as Batman. Great scene. I'm not even mad a little bit. I'm glad we're talking about it.
Yeah, I don't have any good excuse for you. I mean, I have the Tumblr chase scene from earlier just because I like big action scenes, but this is a great action scene as well. And like you said, just iconic lines throughout it and just a great way to introduce, him turning into the Dark Knight. So great choice. Can't argue with that.
Okay. Robert, what was one of the lucky top 17 that didn't get cut and didn't get put on earlier?
My number you say that like I'm like a legitimate critic who's like, well, these are the 17 I'm going to include.
Have you ever seen like in a movie where like the person's trying to hunt down a serial killer or a mob and they have all these like wires going everywhere? That's how I think you picked this list. Well, we put this here and then we put that there, and this is the greatest list ever created. Go ahead, go.
Oh, I don't come as the greatest list, but I won't lie that there were printouts of some scenes. My number 17 is from Infinity War. It is the scene right after the one Scully talked about earlier. It's the snap, the aftermath of the snap.
Yikes.
That's the yikes from TWOHIG. All right.
For next episode.
Cool. My number 16 then, I like the name of this one. It is from The Dark Knight. It is Harvey Goes Over the Edge. It is from the time Gordon shows up at Rachel's warehouse through the end of the movie. I realize it's a little bit. Do I talk about it now? Okay. I realize it's a little bit of a longer scene. It's like 7 to 9 minutes, a little bit longer, but I think it all stitches together as the same scene. If you take away Ledger, I think this is the best acted scene in the film. I think the lighting of the scene is like, if we're going to talk like technically, I think this is an extremely well shot scene. It's Eckhart's best scene in the movie. It's not about what I want, it's about what's fair. And he yells, you thought we could be decent men in an indecent time. Like, just incredible line delivery. It's where he really becomes Two-Face. I mean, we see him like kill the driver and kill the guy at the bar, but like, this is the emergence of Two-Face. And like, I understand some people have some problems with the Two-Face stuff in this movie. They say like, oh, it slows down the pace, blah, 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 blah. To me, I think that's just being a little bit hipster and like, oh man, it's not a perfect movie. But it is. Like, this is the entire point of the movie, is that Joker could take somebody as good as Harvey Dent, the White Knight, and tear him down to be on his level. I think that's the entire point of the movie. So of course it had to be in this movie. Like, I don't think it messes with the pacing. Harvey was the best of them. Joker proved somebody as good as him could fall. The scene the moment where he makes Gordon like lie to his son, Gordon's like, no, punish me, don't punish the boy. And he's like, I am. Like, that and of course Batman tackling him off the ledge, and then Batman taking the blame because that's what Batman can do, right? He's the hero that Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Gordon's closing narration, like it's just the perfect ending to the perfect movie. The callback to the "Die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain." That line, the incredible score, like this is just a great scene. This is one of the best scenes of the movie. It's a very dramatic scene. It's not, super action intensive, but it is the epitome of the movie. It's the point of the movie is that Joker could take Two-Face and turn him to be a villain, and Batman can take the blame for being a villain.
Yeah. I think the people that have the criticism because they want more Joker and they don't want Harvey Dent, they don't want Heath Ledger to go off the scene. They don't want to talk. I think sometimes in this movie, Harvey Dent overacts like way too much. Like I think he's a little bit too much. I think this scene's really good, basically because it's what boils down, and I think it gets saved with Batman's like the line. It's not what I'm not the hero they need right now. I think that's really. I think it's really cool. I don't know. I think this is a weird. Not weird. I wouldn't say it's a weird pick. I just would have probably put one of the Why So Seriouses above this scene for me personally. But yeah, what does everybody else think about the scene?
I didn't like. I enjoy this scene a lot. I love Aaron Eckhart's performance. To be honest, I didn't really classify this as a scene per se. Like if I would probably broken it down into smaller scene segments or whatever. But I do love Eckhart. But again, so many Dark Knight scenes, only 40 spots. I didn't want to oversaturate it, so this didn't make the list.
Yeah, same here. I didn't want to oversaturate it, but obviously, I mean, Aaron Eckhart really it is showing him go over the edge and really like embrace the Two-Face sort of persona that he was going for. So it is a very good one. It's a really great ending to that movie.
I agree that it's the best acting to not include Heath Ledger in the movie. Bit of a strong disagree that it's like him becoming Two-Face. I think him becoming Two-Face happens in the hospital when the Joker goes to visit him in the hospital. That to me is the character flip because the whole point of Two-Face is like, it's out of my hands. It's about what the universe decides what's fair. Not
I mean, this is just more embracing it. Like, yeah, that's the first time we see it, but it's just like he really takes it in.
What you you're right. Is a very apt description because it's him losing control of that. And I love Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. I think one of the best. I don't know what overacting moments you're talking about, Cody. I can't think of any, but feel free to tell me later. Similar to what everyone else has said, so many Dark Knight scenes. I don't agree, but so many Dark Knight scenes, so little time.
Yeah. So then my 15? My 15 is Yikes from earlier. It is the bar scene in Argentina in X-Men First Class. I don't remember. I think Tuig, you were the one who had this earlier.
I had it at 28.
Yeah, Tuig had it last episode. It was Yikes until here for me. This is maybe my favorite scene in the new X-Men movies. The balls of this scene to only have one line in the entire scene in English is incredible. It's perfect. Fassbender walks into the bar looking dapper as hell. He's got a great costume design. He goes and orders a beer, and he's like, "Oh, it's German beer," and he starts talking in German. The score of this scene, the score of this movie in general, is maybe the best, arguably the best comic movie scene ever, score ever. But it's just like the dun 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 dun. Like it's just the incredible Magneto theme, and Magneto goes and like sits down and starts drinking his beer with the two German guys, and he's like, "Oh, my parents didn't have a name. It was taken from them by tailors and pig farmers." And like he like cheers them. Oh, it's so good. This is Magneto's best scene in the entire series, or excuse me, Fassbender's best scene in the entire series. He reveals his number on his arm. I love how none of it's in English. He stabs the guy, throws the knife at the other guy, makes the gun turn and shoot him. It's the let's just say I'm Frankenstein's monster line. Stabs him in the arm again, like for the second time. Takes a second to finish his beer, pulls the knife back up, and then kills him. Like, just an incredible scene. This is the Magneto scene from the series. I love this scene. I love Fassbender in it.
You want me to?
Who else had this?
I did.
Two got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not many things I can totally disagree with. I'd have to think about the best Magneto scene. Or did you say best Magneto or best Fassbender?
I don't know. Probably both for me.
I might agree. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, you're right. The score, the way it builds tension, Fassbender's acting, and everything's fine, but you killed my family, you motherfucker. It's so great. So well acted. And yeah, you said it all. I agree. That's why it was in my top 30.
Okay. This is probably top 5 scores of any comic book movie. I think the score for First Class does not get any credit whatsoever, really, when you talk about it. I think it's absolutely incredible. This scene alone, I think, is probably the best from any X-Men movie. There are some other ones that are good. There's other ones that are
up there,
probably more memorable. In an X-Men movie, yes, I know, believe me, I know Logan counts as his own, but in all the characters, for this scene to be in here, honestly, I watched First Class with my 10-year-old son, and I forgot how kind of brutal First Class really is. If you look at it as a whole, it's fucking brutal. And this scene does not hold any punches. They're all joking, they're all drinking. He lures them into this false sense of security. And basically, when he sends the knife and sends it back and stabs, and you're just like, what the fuck? Magneto's my favorite comic book character ever. I know heroes are more fun to cheer for, but at the end of the day, I've always said this before, Magneto is wrong in the way he delivers it, but he's not wrong with what he believes. If you think about it in a whole, he's not wrong that says he should have to hide or be changed of who he is. He holds true to that throughout the entire thing. And in this scene, he's got the best story in any movie of all time. And for him to hunt down the Nazis that killed his mother is probably one of the most fucking best storylines in any film, ever. Because he catches these guys in Argentina and he kills them and what does he say the line? What's the line, Robert? He says the knife has blood and honor written in German. Blood and honor. Which one first or whatever? Which one first? And he goes, "We were just following orders." Blood then, and stabs him such a good. Yeah, I think how the X-Men trilogy was able to do it is have Stewart and McKellen, and then also transition to Fassbender and McAvoy, and not miss a beat is something that we don't hear enough about. That is insane to me. So great scene. 15 is fine. I would have been totally fine if it was higher. I think it's great. 2 people did not have it. Not enough? If it was in a 3-hour movie and directed by a person who loves slow-mo, would it have made the scene? Tell me why.
100%. No, seriously, I just rewatched this movie for a while last week. Not gonna lie, it should have been on my list. Just lack of remembrance of the scene kind of flipped off there. So I'll admit foul to that. The scene is brilliant. The score is phenomenal. Henry Jackman is one of the best comic book composers we have out there today. His theme for Magneto is just so dark and brooding, and the scene is written incredibly well too. But it's all about Fassbender's delivery. The way he delivers all these lines in both German and English are absolutely fantastic. He steals every scene he's in this movie. He steals it. He is the MVP of this movie. I disagree, however, that this is the Magneto scene. I think there's a different scene in this movie that is the Magneto scene. So I do think it's a great scene. I think there's another one out there that is a better quote unquote Magneto scene.
Is it still coming on your list?
Potentially.
Okay. I'm curious. I think I know, but I strongly disagree. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, same boat. I should have had it. This is just reminding me that I need to go back and rewatch X-Men because there's all these scenes that all of you've been like reminding me of, and I'm like, wow, I really enjoyed those movies. I need to go watch them again. So I mean, I don't remember it enough to really to throw it on my list. It probably should have been. No excuses.
I'm a super X-Men apologist, so there is only honestly the two movies that I think are the worst. I'd still watch them over some of the other comic book movies. So, to be fair, all right, Robert, what's your 14?
All right, my 14. Like I said, I think the bar scene from Argentina is the best scene in an X-Men movie. It doesn't include Logan. So my next scene's from Logan. It is Charles's death and the ensuing fight with X-24. So this is when they're in the Munson household. I think this is the best Stewart scene in any X-Universe film. As far as acting, he's laying there in the bed, and young Logan peers over him, and he goes, "That was the best sleep I've had in so long, and I don't deserve it." And he starts crying because he knows what he's done in the context of the film. And the claws go through his chest. And when you're watching that for the first time, you're like, holy shit, wait, what? And then you obviously upon rewatch, you realize that it's X-24. But the best Stewart scene in any X-Universe film. And then the action right after that is incredible, right? Will Munson comes up with a shotgun and shoots him after X-24 kills his daughter, his son and wife. And then Logan has to fight off X-24. It's Caliban's sacrifice. It's Richard Grant's character trying to get control of X-24 again. It's those dudes from the water plant coming up and offering X-24 a job, and then he just murders them all. Incredible action mixed with maybe the best acted scene in any X-Universe film, maybe. That's up for debate, but it's definitely Stewart's best. I truly believe that when he's I don't deserve it and starts weeping, that's spectacular. So one of my favorite scenes from Logan, this absolutely is high up there for me.
Yeah. I can't disagree. Logan is hard to watch just because with the character, because it's like watching a sports player that you've loved your entire life, or basically a sports player or a fighter or somebody like that you've admired for so long, and they keep going, and they don't have it anymore, and you just wish somebody would just tell them to stay down. That's what's hard for with Logan, because when X-24 is just beating the living shit out of him, and you're like, he can't heal the way he used to. He's not where he is. He's just getting the shit kicked out of him. You feel awful. You feel really rough. And it doesn't – there's not really a levity moment that happens in this movie at all. There's no real levity, and that's why it's a downer for this entire film, which it needs to be. It's a send-off. It makes sense. But this fight, I think, is really good. I just remember, I don't gasp in movies. I normally see things coming, of some sort. You can predict things of happening. But when you don't see, you just see Hugh Jackman's, shadow, basically. It's him. And the claws go into Charles. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you realize who it is. And you're like, oh, my fucking God. Can Logan just drive this kid to where he fucking needs to go so he can just die in peace? It feels so miserable. But I agree. It's one of the greatest scenes. Just for shock value, and it still holds. I just watched it recently. It still makes your stomach drop. It's I think it's great. I would have put Argentina a little higher, but that's fair. What does everybody else think about the scene? No one else had it, so that's kind of impressive.
It's I don't like seeing Professor X die. That's my main beef with it. Patrick Stewart's Professor X is, one of the first comic films I ever watched was X2. So since I was 5 years old, I've been watching Patrick Stewart be Professor X, and then just seeing him die upright like that is I got mad first time I watched the movie, but it's great shock value. I really appreciate what it does. Again, it's Hugh Jackman just going absolutely berserk, and just the brutality. This really shows off the brutality of the film. How it's not afraid to hold back or pull any punches. I appreciate what Mangold did. I just don't like seeing Professor X die. I just don't like that. I understand. It makes sense for the movie. I just don't like it.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's just one of those ones that I guess it didn't stick out when I was thinking of this film, and I know I already had one from earlier, and because it is an extremely emotional scene, and now that we're talking about it, you can add this one to the oh shit counter too, because I really should have had this one, because that's just him getting stabbed was absolute amazing, just like roller coaster of emotion from one scene to the next. It was very well done. So, but yeah, can't fault that at all.
I love seeing Professor X die. I couldn't even get through it. Plus, it's the second time he died. Remember in the third one when he died?
I almost put that scene on because that is just, let's all agree, an incredible scene.
Let me
Yes.
go skip up the corner of
It's heartbreaking for other reasons.
I was actually very, very close to having this scene because from the moment I've always thought it's some of the best acting. I really struggle with it. I go back and forth with myself so much on the concept of X-24 as a villain. Because I get it, like the coolest part about it is like Laura is sitting there and she could have stopped him, but she also thought it was Logan. That's why she freaks out when he actually stabs in there. But like she was awake and watching the whole time, and it's like, oh man, if she had only known. But then I especially if you include the ensuing fight, like I struggle. Like part of me wants a villain that I like cared about more, as opposed to this like mindless drone. And part of me thinks it might be a little bit on the nose. It's like, oh, he's literally fighting his younger self, who he thinks he still can be, and he's not anymore. Or who it some of it feels very on the nose, but also I understand the reasons why it had to be like that. I just go back and forth on as to whether or not I liked X-24. I love the movie as a whole, and Charles' death is some of the, like I said, some of the best acting, some of the most like heart-wrenching moments when he's like, "This is by far the most perfect night I've had in a long time." It's like, God damn, man. The only reason I didn't include it is because I'm not decided on X-24.
That's very fair. I'm 100% with you. I don't really like the idea of X-24 as the villain. I understand why, because clearly, how do you beat Wolverine? Fucking make a sequel. Okay, so we're trading one apiece to kick it off. What's your 13?
Yeah, we can pass because it's the church fight from Kingsman. So
goodbye. Carly, what's yours?
A movie we haven't talked about yet, V for Vendetta. The ending from V for Vendetta is I use the quote, "Do you like music, Mr. Finch?"
The final explosion.
The final Big Ben Parliament explosion, and all the but yes. So I don't know. Just I like this a little better than the Mr. Bailey, just because I feel like it summed it up, and having the entire crowd of people all dressed up as him, watching it count down and happen, and then the music along with it being the same song. But I don't know. I think it was a great sum up to that movie and what he was trying to accomplish. And it was, I know he was just trying to accomplish anarchy, and I feel like he accomplished what he wanted. So I really enjoyed how it ended up.
Anarchy. Don't know what it means, but I love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know if I like V for Vendetta anymore. You guys are bringing up a fucking lot, and there's not many Blade Trinity movies brought up. I like the scene. I don't know if it's better than the rest that have been brought up, and for it to be this high as 13 is a little for me. I don't know. Again, I just recently watched it really for the first time this year, so let me tell you, it's not super fresh. To be honest with you, I'm defandomed, so I don't need to watch this shit right now. So yeah, what's everybody else's take on this?
like I said earlier, of the two big explosion scenes, the beginning and the end, I like the beginning one more. This one is good. It's got a good payoff. Great ending of the movie. It's just I don't like it as much. And again, it's been a bit since I've seen this movie.
Yeah, I would take a couple of. This is a good scene. I would take the sewer fight or the V's intro or the Bailey building over this one. It's still a good scene. For me, it's just not top 40.
This is Sparta's better.
Like I said, I love this movie, and I do love this scene. It's really cool because V's whole thing is not just to like, it's really not just anarchy. It's like get the people, like the tagline of V for Vendetta is like or people should not fear their governments. Governments should fear their people. So it's like he's not just going for anarchy. He's trying to rally the people into realizing that they should have power over their government. The reason I didn't pick it is because it doesn't pay off as well. It feels a little repetitive given that they just sort of did the same music and scene and you see it coming from a mile away. But I do agree it's a very good ending to a very good movie.
Okay. Scully, talk.
Well, okay, we're not going to talk. Number 13 was Thor Arrives from Wakanda, which was yikes.
Robert, you ran away. I need you to come back.
Sorry, I'm washing my hands. I'm very sorry. I had to take a pee break. I'm coming.
This is ridiculous.
I'm so sorry.
You're supposed to pee your pants.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Peeing your pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
My number 13, right?
Yes, 13.
Okay, my number 13 is from Spider-Man 2. It is Doc Ock's redemption and MJ's realization in the warehouse at the end of the film.
Okay.
I'm surprised no one else has this. Okay. I can talk.
Raimi movies suck. That's my Koho for the night.
I think this is the best scene in the Raimi trilogy. It's the warehouse fight, so we got the action between Doc Ock and Spider-Man. You have top tier damsel in distress screaming from Kirsten Dunst, just top tier. You get Peter convincing Doc Ock to fight the arms and to drown it in the river. Right, he takes off his mask and he's like, we spoke one. And he's like, yes, Parker, brilliant but lazy. They talk about there's the callback to their speech about intelligence and how it's a gift, and you get Doc Ock being like, no, like I'm gonna fight these arms. They're not gonna control me. I am going to take control. I'm gonna drown my invention in the river. I'm gonna sacrifice myself. He does die, and it's a great sacrifice. It's one of the great villain turns in comic movies, and it's also MJ finding out that Peter is Spider-Man. It's all in the same scene. The wall almost falls on her, and he catches it, and he's just like, hi, this is really heavy. Like, just good comedic moments. And it's MJ just sort of, maybe she had suspicions in the last two films, but she really sees it fully realized in this moment as he holds up the side of the building. Doc Ock's line, I will not die. I will not die a monster. Is that it? Yeah, I will not die a monster. Which is just a great villain line. I think Doc Ock is an incredibly complex villain, and I think Peter and MJ, their relationship is really complex, and we just kind of see the culmination of all of these things in this last scene of Spider-Man 2. Really, really great scene.
Well, what the fuck, Boatman? You don't show up for any of the episode, and you literally have to put Doc Cock in the chat. Listen, I don't know what your fetus cult does, but y'all need to knock it off. Oh my gosh. Okay, get off the screen. Get off the screen. I didn't want to bring that much attention to it. Oh, and he's in the back. Oh my gosh. Okay, so listen. This scene's fantastic. Everybody that hates on this Raimi trilogy, they can all just suck an egg. I think these are great movies. I have so much fun with them. Are they perfect? No, but like most comic book movies aren't. And I think this one is incredible. I think this one is still one of the best comic book movies of all time. I will stand by that. Doc Ock is still up there as one of the best villains of all time. Yes, is MJ great? No, she's really not. But and neither is Peter. But like as
I
Spider-Man,
just like the way they interact in the scene.
Yeah. I think overall it's great. I think I have no issue because I think Alfred Molina in the scene is literally incredible. The whole sinking of his own invention, realizing who he is. Great scene. Probably, I would put it probably lower. I'd probably put it in 20 range because I would probably. But as the Spider, I think you're in contract. You have to put it here.
Legally, I do have to.
Yeah. What does everybody else think about this scene? No one else had it. No one else. So what's up?
I mean, I didn't. I mean, I don't know. Just kind of speechless.
I don't know. My bad.
I mean, it is a great. You know, I guess just in this movie, I enjoyed the action. You know, I had the train fight scene earlier, but it's just, you know, but this is a great, just, you know, the villain realizing what he did, what he's done, and what's happening around him, and I do agree that Doc Ock is one of the best Spider-Man villains on film. So I do think this movie is very well done. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I think this is a testament to how good Alfred Molina is in the film. The way he kind of, you know, switches back from the vicious Doc Ock to Dr. Otto Octavius and being the sort of regretful villain, wanting to drown his invention in the river, willing to sacrifice himself in order to save everyone else. That really took me by surprise when I first watched Spider-Man 2, and I really enjoyed it. This scene, however, it didn't really come up as I was making my list. I have a different Spider-Man 2 scene coming up, so I didn't ignore this film completely.
You're better than your manager.
Oh.
Well, we already know.
Cody, you're gonna make me say it. You're gonna make me say it. These are bad movies. I'm sorry, but they're bad. Spider-Man 2 has redeeming qualities. I will give you that. However, and I will say this, Doc Ock.
Oh my gosh! Don't say it too loud. If you say "Oh my God," they're gonna appear and they're gonna leave my faction. You need to shut. Don't.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry, Jake. I'm sorry, Michael. Doc Ock is the best Spider-Man villain outside of the MCU on film. I will 100% concede that. What is the face for?
Outside the
MCU. You put Vulture above this?
I think Vulture's a little better.
Oh my God, you are terrible.
Fight me on it. Anyway, so if this scene was just Doc Ock coming to the realization that like he's become a monster and he won't die a monster and he needs to destroy his creation and he finally gets the willpower to like beat the arms, great. You know what this scene has? The worst character in a comic book movie, Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane Watson. Fight me. Everybody fight me. This by far. And guess what? Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
Oh no. Oh no.
These are two of the worst characters with the worst chemistry ever. Oh my God. If Mary Jane wasn't an awful person all the way up to the scene, maybe I'd care a little bit more that like her and Peter are now becoming, but she's terrible. I cannot stand her. Peter, like I just rewatched the Raimi trilogy, which is why I'm so high on this right now. But Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker is terrible. I hate him. I don't like him at all. Their chemistry is not something I care about. I root for them to fail. I root for her to end up with Harry because Harry's slightly a worse person than Peter, and Mary Jane's a terrible person, so they might as well end up together. But then Harry dies, so you got to be with friggin' Peter Parker. If this was just Doc Ock, Doc Ock's one of my favorite villains in a comic book movie. However, it includes garbage between two garbage people with terrible chemistry, and I cannot stand it. If you thought Kirsten Dunst would be anywhere near my top 40, you were sorely mistaken.
Okay.
End of rant.
Maybe you do need to go to the fetus cult.
Oh, please. Don't bring that up. That was never officially part of that. It never got announced.
Or the dickwads or something. I don't even know what it's fucking called.
Can we just talk about how Tuig just said that MJ is the worst character in any comic book?
Yeah.
Name me one that's worse.
I can name you 5 that's worse.
I mean,
Lois
Supergirl exists.
Yeah, Lois is by far a worse character than MJ.
Strong disagree. She's bad, but strong disagree.
Oh my gosh. I want what you're smoking. Okay, listen. I'm so mad. Who was it? Go ahead, Tuig. Talk about your 12 and get ready. I'm going to shit all over it, regardless if it's good.
My 12 is from 2002 Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Kidding, of course. My 12 is a yikes, and it might still be a yikes, but it's the highway fight on Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Shit.
Shut up! You know you can't say that.
That was from me because I had that in my 20s.
And no one else has it higher?
No.
Cool. So this is the scene starting with sort of when Sitwell, Black Widow, and Cap and Sam are all in the car, and then the Winter Soldier shows up and takes the steering wheel all the way up until they get caught at the end. So you get the revelation of Bucky as Winter Soldier. Similar to what I said about the Infinity War deaths, and that, like, yes, we all know that they don't matter because they're coming back, but it's what it does to the character. I remember watching an interview with Kevin Feige before this movie came out, and every reporter was like, listen, everyone knows the Winter Soldier is Bucky Barnes. Like, why should we care? Why should we care that this is happening in the movie? And Kevin Feige said, it's not about you knowing. It's about what it does to Cap and how Cap reacts to it. Like, that's what is supposed to affect you. And holy crap, is that true when Cap finds this out. On top of that, because what I love are the more emotional, like, deeper the moments of the scene. However, on top of that, we have some of the best action, probably maybe the best action in the MCU. From starting on the highway, Sam getting involved in the fight, Natasha actually, like, using her abilities as a spy to sort of create a diversion with, like, a voice recorder and then attacking the Winter Soldier. Natasha actually gets shot, which is not something you see happen a whole lot in the MCU, like characters actually getting hurt and having consequences because of that. And then just the hand-to-hand combat between Cap and Bucky is literally the best action. I will say it. I'm decided. It's literally the best action in the MCU. It's so well choreographed, so well done. So yeah.
This is my 31. Yeah, go ahead. I have a question, but go ahead. Yeah.
So I had this much further down, but I agree. I think this is the best 1v1 action in the MCU. I don't know about, like, group action, but I think 1v1, I agree. This is the best action in the MCU, 1v1.
I agree.
You got the knife stuff against the car, like scraping against the car. You got the knife flipping like Arya in Game of Thrones. Like, it's just the action is incredible, and I agree. Like, the twist does hold up. Like, the who the hell is Bucky? Like, that holds up because of Steve's reaction to it. Cap redirecting, like, the minigun fire into all the different people. The Henry Jackman score, you get, again, the Winter Soldier, just the screeches from the Winter Soldier score. Incredible stuff. So it was much further down for me. It was in the first episode. But I can't fault you for having it lower down. This is a really great scene. One of my favorite scenes from Winter Soldier. Maybe my favorite scene from Winter Soldier.
Okay, you answered my question. I just need to know where this pretty much ends with. He's like,
yeah, it starts with the Sitwell being
Bucky?
Killed. Yeah, and then it ends with sort of that.
Who the hell's Bucky? This was one of the highest climbers when I did my MCU rewatch. I liked it before. I really did, but it's Guardians of the Galaxy and it's Winter Soldier is my 1-2, basically, of the MCU. Infinity War is my third. I think it's incredible. There's a reason, because there's a movie from the 70s called 3 Days of the Condor, right? Is that right?
Is that the Max von Sydow one?
No, that's it. 3 Days of the Congo. That is with Robert Redford. Basically, it is this exact plot of the movie. And that doesn't hurt it at all. That just makes it even more why I like it. It's basically a guy that's inside the organization and everybody around him has turned rogue and he has no fucking clue because what used to be there and what protocols and what people were there to help him set up completely are no longer around. Those safety nets are completely gone. The one thing you had. And the one thing I've always enjoyed is Cap and Bucky's relationship, because regardless how everybody else is like, this dude's a murderer, this dude's a psychopath, this person's a killer, stop what you're doing, like realize it. And he goes, doesn't matter, he's my best friend at the end of the day, and he knows the good inside Bucky, not what Bucky is now. And that entire fight, I will agree with you. One-on-one fight battle between them, there's probably there was a scene, I don't want to bring it up because if it cases later, but like there's another scene in the later movie that happens between the three is just incredible to me. But that relationship when those two fight is just still heartbreaking, because they're characters that just basically Cap wants him to be better and Bucky doesn't understand who the fuck he is, and he knows he's just supposed to kill him. So it's so cool. 12 is fine. I could understand if it was a little higher. These are one of those scenes that I like a little bit more than there's a scene that will be coming up later. I know it will, but this is a scene that actually has heart and real stakes in the relationship. What is it? No one else had this besides Robert, right? Mm-hmm. If it was shot at night and it had doom and gloom and maybe a Batman logo in the sky, it would have been on some people's list. Why did it not make your list?
I fucked up. I'll just tell you right now. I think this is like top 5. This is probably like at least in my top 5 of MCU films, and I should have had at least something from this movie.
Fucked up. That's great.
I mean, I might as well get to the. But anyways, just like you said, the one-on-one fight is just absolutely brutal the whole way through. It's so good. And then just and it's 0 to 100 and just stays at 100 until the end. It's absolutely great. So I wish I would have had it, but it is what it is.
All right, we're about to go on a whirlwind of a journey here. So, Winter Soldier, my second favorite comic film of all time. I love every single frame of this film. When I was making my list, I could not include every single scene from this film, even though I wanted to. So I had to make the tough choice to cut all but one scene from this film, and it breaks my heart that I had to do that. I had to openly apologize to my Winter Soldier Blu-ray DVD I have over here, because it broke my heart. Because if I can pick 3 or 4 scenes from any other great comic film, I could not with Winter Soldier. I could not pick 3 or 4 scenes that stood out because they are all so good. I love this film so much, it hurts. And I just, aside from one of the scenes, I couldn't put them all in, or I couldn't put them all. If I can't have them all, I just have to have one. So that was my lot there.
I mean, that's completely fair. You're not wrong. Okay. Nick, Carly, what's your 12?
Okay, to continue how much I fucked up, I put this scene in my number 12 instead of this one. I went with the montage scene from Big Hero 6 instead. But I will stick with it. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Which one are we talking about?
The
Immortals?
Fallout Boys. The
Immortals.
Immortals montage. Yeah. And and so anyways, I don't know. I love this movie. I think it's it's super fun, and this is just them becoming a superhero team and developing their different gadgets and AKA powers and whatnot. And I don't know, it's got humor, it's got some cool little functions to it, and it's got a I hate I don't like. This is going to get some brownie points from some people backstage, but I don't like all of Fallout Boy stuff. But I like how this song works, and I think this song fits perfectly in the scene in the movie and whatnot. So it's good stuff, and I like I said, it was one of those that kept stuck in the front of my mind, so I thought it deserved a high spot. So,
I don't know. 12 is crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
10, like 40, like honorable mention. I don't know. That's a little too high for me. That's a little bit too much. I'm not a Big Hero 6 fan. When I watched it in theaters, I liked it. I did. But I think, honestly, the worst thing about this movie is the side characters. Like, I think the side characters are bad in this movie, to be honest with you. I think the team up, the overall, I don't enjoy them by any means. I think they're basically fart jokes in a movie. Like, they're there just to try to make comic relief, but they pretty much fail at all levels. I just don't like it. I love the relationship between Baymax and Hero. I think those are the moments that I lean towards and clean, and I like the in battle between them. I don't know about the montage scene. I like the song Immortals. Like, when it kicks into the movie, I'm like, yeah, let's go. But also, I'm a dad right now, and that movie freaking plays like at least once a week, and I'm just like, I'll be in the kitchen and just hear Immortals playing. I'm like, fucking Big Hero 6 yet again. Here we go. My 4-year-old would give you a flipping A+. What does everybody else think about the Immortals scene?
I actually really like this scene. I like the song too. I don't know what Boatman's talking about this song being bad. I like this song a lot. I like this scene. I think this is probably the best scene in the movie. This is the scene that's most likely to be on my list of all of the scenes in the movie. I disagree completely that the side characters are bad. I think what makes this movie is the team. I love the side characters. Love the team up scene. Love the gear up. Let's get ready for the final fight. Fall Out Boy plan. I like the scene a lot. It just didn't crack my 40.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, Tilly.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, I actually agree. I don't love the side character. I don't see a whole lot of depth beyond like their introduction. It's like, this is my personality type, and then that's sort of it for them. I really dislike Honey Lemon's powers. She gets a purse that and she throws balls that come from the
What
purse.
do you have against chemistry?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean, are you talking about chemistry like the science, or chemistry like the lack of in the Spider-Man trilogy? Anyway. I do like this movie a lot. It feels a lot more like a Disney animated movie than a comic book movie, which it is a Disney animated movie. I love you, buddy, but I probably wouldn't have picked a scene from this movie to be on the list. It's fine.
Right.
Well, those powers are cool. She gets like dope skates, but then Wasabi's like, "Oh, I have laser swords," and it's like, you should be nowhere near a fight. You look very unable to perform in a fight right now, so maybe you shouldn't be here.
Actually, but yeah, I like Big Hero 6. I don't love it. I like the message that it sends. I really love what the movie is telling us. It has a really deep and powerful message. The execution, it's definitely more geared towards kids. So that's just, I mean, if this movie had come out maybe 7 years earlier and I had watched it first when I was like 7 or 8, I would like it a lot more probably. But in this scene, look, Immortals wouldn't even rank number 12 on my list of Fall Out Boy songs. It's not that great of a song in terms of all Fall Out Boy, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I love the use of Fall Out Boy. I mean, props to Disney for putting Fall Out Boy in one of their movies, but this song, really?
Okay.
Robert has some of the worst takes tonight with that character, with the side characters being one of the best. That's one of the worst takes, and that can affect your overall grade. And we're going over to Thomas Kelly.
Oh boy! All right. Well, I promise I have a really good 11, but my 12. I'm a huge fan of this movie. You knew it was coming. My 12. First Flight from Man of Steel.
Yikes.
I'm innocent. Thank you, Nick.
Yikes for this episode or next episode? And please say this episode.
No, next episode.
All right. Well, this was a really good run. 74 is way more than I thought we would make it. Okay. Robert, please have a.
Don't worry, my number 12 is a good scene.
Please have a coherent scene.
Yeah, my number 12 is a good scene. It's Tony's funeral. It's Yikes from earlier this episode from TWOHIG'S. from Endgame. Don't worry, it's a good scene.
Yeah, 'cause he died.
I have it starting with Tony's narration over like the Cassie and Hope and Scott, and over the Wakanda stuff. If you'll play this back, all that stuff, and Hawkeye and his family in the narration, and then I cry easily at movies in the first watch. I don't cry easily like after rewatch. Still, what happens in this movie, one of the things that still gets me is the way that Tony says, "Part of the journey is the end." That is an incredible line. There's the callback to the I Love You 3000. There's the arc reactor in the river. There's the incredible panning shot of every character ever in the MCU who's still alive. An incredible shot. There's the conversation between Wanda and Clint about Vision and Nat, and they're they know how much they did. And there's the Happy offering cheeseburgers from Morgan. That scene still kills me. And he's like, "Your dad always liked cheeseburgers. Don't worry, I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want." Like that scene fucking breaks me. I think this is probably for me the most emotional scene of Endgame, or of the MCU really, as far as just pure emotions, pure sadness. It just brings out everything, and it gives every character a moment. Not just in the panning shot, but with the I Love You 3000, with the Part of the journey is the end, with the they know, like that's an incredible, that's a very satisfying conclusion to sort of the Clint Wanda dynamic. And that the happy thing with the cheeseburgers is ridiculously powerful. So yeah, it's Tony's funeral. This is a great scene.
I agree. I had this at number 19. You pointed out pretty much every part I was gonna mention, but yeah, mine also started from the Tony's narration to, I think the next thing that happens is Cap goes back in time.
After this scene, yeah.
After this scene, so like up till right before that.
Up till before that, yep.
Yeah, dude, cheeseburgers gets me every time. Every time.
I'll get the line. I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want.
Oh,
fucking tear my heart out, man.
It is, and then when he looks up at Morgan, at his daughter, even though it's a hologram, they placed. I mean, I know it's a movie, so they did it on purpose. But like the fact that it was placed perfectly for him to look up at his daughter and be like, "I love you 3000." It's like Don Cheadle in this scene, very underrated. He's sitting there crying at Tony's final message. The only thing that this probably would have been top 10 for me. The only thing that knocked it down is why is the kid there from Iron Man 3?
Why is Ty Simpkins here?
Why is Ty Simpkins there? And you know what the best part is, or the worst part, I guess, is the director probably just said, "Hey, stand there and look sad." And Ty Simpkins in his head is like, "I'm gonna look down and do like a little shuffle thing, and there it'll be like a thing." And I'm like, "Just stand there. You're not even supposed to be here. Like, what are you doing?" That is the only thing that knocks it down. But everything else about this scene, because they haven't talked since then. All he did was get him a new potato gun. Like,
it's not that important.
No one knew who he was because they're like, who is this person? Anyway, everything else about the scene to me is pretty perfect. I agree. The conversation between Wanda and Clint is amazing. And yeah, if just Ty Simpkins, if he wasn't there, that'd be fantastic.
Understand how somebody spends so much time with, like, they did all that stuff together. Why wouldn't he show up to the funeral? Like, there are people that show up to people's funeral that knew them around town but didn't hang out with them. Like, that makes perfect sense to me why he would show up to that funeral. Like, he probably set his life in a different direction and probably changed it by meeting him. Douchebag. But yeah, the only reason this is on Robert's list is because Tony Stark was finally dead. Got to celebrate the death of Tony Stark finally. He's like, yeah, I won't be saying any more cheesy ass lines.
I had a scene from the first Iron Man movie on my list. Give me
he gets all this discredit because he's massaging his asshole, even though he's with Pepper Potts the entire since Iron Man 1. Fuck you. So yeah, fantastic. This is a scene that literally rips my heart out. It made me bawl, like not like bawl, but like those heavy stream tears the entire seeing it was happening, and it happens all the time. I think this movie is incredible. I do not know what Spence said to get blocked, but I am so curious to find out after this episode. No, but it is so emotional. It doesn't matter what line it is. I think it's the panning. I think it's the just knowing he's gone at that point. Like, they took the one thing, they took the stake that they kind of needed to, and it just makes it makes it just powerful and happy. It's just like, when you saw Happy, you basically saw Tony. It was like all hand in hand. So yeah, it's a beautiful moment. I love the scene. I hate the scene. I love the scene. So
the narration is good too, where it's just like, God, what a world. Like that's big Tony.
Because you don't get to see him. He said everybody else around him, and like the person that's always been about, basically, or him always worried about himself. He just literally said, it's me. He's seen every. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm about to tear up now. Anybody else have this?
No.
Man,
of course not. Of course not.
Fucking when Man of Steel took flight. Let's fucking go. Fucking Iron Man dies. Fuck you. All right. Tell me why this scene shouldn't be on anybody's list. Oh, is it because the Iron Man 3 kid's there? Perfect. Fantastic.
No.
Thank you.
I actually
Man of Steel up.
I really like Harley in Iron Man 3. I'm glad he was there because Tony had a profound impact on him. Like, that's a whole act of the film is him and Tony interacting. So I'm glad he was there. Again, I limited myself to like only 4 scenes from Endgame. Unfortunately, this one had to get cut. I do love it. I remember watching this for the first time, and I told myself just to last as long as I could without crying. The cheeseburgers moment broke me. That was the moment that broke me. I do really. I do love this scene. I limited it to just 4 from Endgame. This was the 5th. It got the boots. I hate it, but I set my own rules and I had to abide by them.
I mean, yeah, I don't really. Once again, I don't really have a good enough excuse to not have this on my list. It just kind of slipped my mind. I had a few others from Endgame on this list, but I just didn't have this one. But I mean, yeah, I definitely welled up in the theater, so it's a great one.
I'm just saying, if you have 4 of them from Man of Steel, and they're coming in the top 10, I'm going to lose.
I have one from Man of
This is
Steel.
the only Man of Steel scene. Unless we count, I would put number 1 as a boy child. I would put that as.
Okay, fair. Sorry, I cut you off. But who is 11? Where are we at? Go ahead and start talking.
Okay, preface. Before I reveal my pick, very biased personal pick. Like Mr. Scully, which I just found out today. I did not know this. My absolute favorite comic book movie character is Captain America. No doubt, by far. The most fist-pumping, hype moment that happens, at least early on. Like, it's one of the first ones. I have a lot more fist-pumping ones come in my top 10, but I called it "Let's Hear for Captain America" from Captain America: The First Avenger. So, Captain America: The First Avenger is my 5th favorite MCU movie. All 3 Captain Americas are in my top 5. This is the moment. So it starts with Tommy Lee Jones, Colonel Phillips, saying, he's dictating a note, and he's like, "I have to declare Captain Rogers killed in action." And then he's sort of berating Peggy, and Peggy's like, "It wasn't that. I had faith. I had faith that the right thing was being done." And then that pays off so well. One, with the score. Holy crap, the score in this movie might be one of the best in the MCU. Alan Silvestri's score for Captain America: The First Avenger is so great. Just the shot of him walking over the hill back into the encampment with all the prisoners he just freed is one of the most fist-pumping, like, hell yes moments to happen, at least in Phase 1, if not the entire MCU. And then the one of the coolest parts about it is you get Captain America laid out as a character in like 2 lines, because he walks up to Colonel Phillips and he says, "Some of these men need medical attention." That's the first thing he says. He doesn't care about anything else. He's like, "I'm looking out for the people I'm on the battlefield with. I'm looking out for my fellow brothers, my soldiers." He said, "Some of these men need medical attention." And the second thing he says is, "I'd like to submit myself for disciplinary action." He goes, I know I did something wrong against the rules, but in my heart I knew it was right, and I did it, and I'm ready to face the consequences because I was ready to do it when I did it. That is why Captain America is by far my favorite character. This scene sets it up so perfectly. It's one of the best hype moments combined with the music coming in and just sets up my favorite character by far.
Okay.
Captain America is your favorite comic book character?
Yeah, indeed.
So confused. Never knew.
Right.
I really thought you were Jubilee fan. Okay. This is a weird choice. Not a weird choice. Not for you. This makes perfect sense for you. For me, no. I like the scene a lot. This movie did climb. I thought it was really bad the first time I watched it. It went up really high because I like Captain America for the most part. He also annoys me for the most part too at times. But this is one of those scenes that you understand exactly who Cap is. So I understand why it's on your list. I think it's a little high, but I will give you credit. The score is absolutely incredible in this movie. Very underrated in the MCU. So everybody else has the other person that could be considered DC's Captain America, basically Superman, the man everybody loves. Sorry, you picked the wrong one. Why didn't everybody else have this one? Just didn't too many Captain America scenes out there?
I have no Superman scenes for the record. Cap is my favorite Avenger. Him and Wanda are pretty close for me as far as favorite Avengers. I just didn't really think this scene really stood out. I love the him returning to the base and Sebastian Stan, let's hear it for Captain America. That's a great line. There's a couple other scenes from this specific movie that I prefer, and those didn't make it. So if those didn't make it, this one would for me. But it's a little high, but like I don't fault you for having it. I love First Avenger.
Yeah, I absolutely love this film. This one kind of flew. I think this moment flies under the radar in terms of Steve being the embodiment of Captain America. I think there's a lot more scenes, especially in this movie, where he embodies the character as well, but they're in I guess more prominent moment. I agree. Those two lines really signify him as a character as a whole. My favorite part of that scene is when Peggy walks up to him and says, "You're late," and he holds up like the broken wrist banner. It's like, couldn't call my ride. It's just a mix of the loyalty, the honor of him as Captain America, and then like the jokiness, snarkiness of Steve Rogers. That is such a perfect blend of the character of Captain America. I do have another Captain America scene upcoming that I think is more. It's more of an embodiment of him coming up. So this one just didn't make the cut.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great scene. Like I said, I guess it just kind of snuck past me. But I mean, I agree with all the points you made, and especially with it being your favorite character. I do think it's a very good introduction to how he sort of started becoming that person, and it was very good. And the music, of course, is very catchy, so I liked it a lot.
I wonder what scene Scully is going to bring up later that embodies Captain America. We'll find out later, maybe next week. Carly, what is your 11? Right? We're 11.
If I had any goodwill left, it's probably gone after this one. I'm going with a movie that nobody loves in this community. Scott Pilgrim versus the Katyanagi twins. See, it was nice being on the show. I appreciate you guys having me. Anyways,
hey, you just won the approval of Adelaide Spence, Cameron Holtzman, Kirk Koho, and Kaleb Koho.
But anyways, I think just I just love how this comic book was brought to screen, and I thought he did it really well. And this scene I thought was super animated, super fun. I know I probably like this movie way too much than I should, but I really enjoy it. I like the song that plays during it, and just I don't know the fight between the the dragon and the gorilla is super cool, and I just thought it was the comic book jumping off the screen. So that's why I thought it deserved such a high pick.
No, everybody else can talk about. I absolutely refuse to be here right now. You got to be out of your fucking mind, Nick Carly. You've got to be absolutely lost.
I'll start off.
Hold on. No, I changed my mind. I'm back. Listen, there's pandering on this show. And then there's shooting yourself. And you literally were able to commit that all in one episode. It may be because you don't know me as well as everybody else in this community, but you literally just walked on here with 2 giant grenades and dropped them on my show. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'm going to get so much hate on this. Arguably in my top 50 worst movies I have ever watched.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, I don't seek bad movies. I avoid bad movies like the plague. The only reason I ever watch bad movies is when people give me bad movies to watch. When people recommend movies to watch. When people praise movies. This was praised so much that I finally gave in. I watched it with like 4 or 5 people on a call. I was falling asleep. I was miserable. I wanted to leave. I hate this movie. It is also probably the reason that if I saw Michael Cera walking down the street, I would probably punch him in the fucking face. I'm going to be honest with you. I would probably hit him. Just because he has a face that is so punchable, and there's nothing you can do about it. I just can't stand this movie. I despise this movie, and the people that love this movie, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because you are smarter people of cinema than me. But I hate this movie, and for you to have this at 11, and you've said "oh shit" numerous times, I will tell you after this episode, you're going somewhere that not everybody gets to go, but you'll have company. Everybody else, go ahead and talk.
You're literally Rob Riggle from Step Brothers.
So I'm basically never allowed on the show again. All right, I get it.
Is there?
I appreciate the offer.
Is there anything I can do? Like, no, man, it's just your face. I want to punch you right in your face. Nick, I really like this movie, and Cody's gonna hate me for saying that. I like this movie a lot. 11's very high, and this probably isn't the scene I would pick from the movie. However, stand strong. I want to see you stand strong with this pick because I do like this movie a lot. I like how different it is from many other movies. The scene I maybe would have picked is maybe him versus the vegan, that fight. Maybe even the first one. Like, it's not the first guy. The first Evil X he fights isn't the best villain, but it's sort of the introduction to like the video game style fighting that we're getting. This fight to me is almost a little disappointing because I'd rather see them fight as opposed to like the embodiments of like animals coming and clashing together. However, Nick, stand strong. A lot of things were just said, but you got this. This is your pick. I'm okay with it.
I know it wasn't anything personal. It was on my list.
I will also say, Nick.
Yes.
This does not make you banned from the show forever. This just makes you automatic guaranteed when you send in list. Believe me, ask Spence. They are in the special category. I need you on this show. That's the point of this show. Because the point of the show, before everybody, I get labeled as the big bully. It's fine. The point of the show is to come on with whatever takes that you have and defend them. Are they wrong? 100%, because the show is my opinion, no one else's. But as long as you defend them and you stand by them, that's the point of the show. You're supposed to have a list that sucks in my eyes at times. Most people come in here and pick good lists and they get away. No, these are lists that scenes that you love that I think you're batshit crazy for having. And that's what makes this show successful, and that's what people want to watch the show. So good job, Nick. Proud of you. You're in hell in this episode, and I'm sorry that I don't think you're ever going to get out of it. Go ahead, everybody else on this scene. And Twig, don't ever try to create any kind of safe zone on my show because I will throw you off because there is no safe zone. This is brutal. We fight with brass knuckles on. Let's do this. Go ahead, Scully. Tell me it was 41 on your list.
Here's the thing. I don't hate this movie. I I fairly enjoy this movie. I have to hear it being filleted 7 times a week from the yahoos in the fetus coal. So I'm a little sick of it at this point as well. This is not the scene that I would have picked. I would have picked his fight against Lucas Lee personally because I think Chris Evans is so good in this movie. He's so stupid, but he is so good as Lucas Lee. But I think 11 is outrageously high. But yeah, this movie, it's in that weird area where I like it, but because it's talked about so often, by the people I hang out with, it's become a very, very annoying topic.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Scully. I like this movie. If you had this at number 40 or even like the bottom 5, wouldn't be bad. Number 11 is a little high, and I agree. This isn't the scene to pick from this movie. I'd do the one where he breaks vegan edge and you got the vegan police. Like I think that's the best scene of the movie. But I can't fault you. It's your list. You do what you want. This is just not a memorable fight in my opinion, and it's a little high. But I also don't like despise this movie. I think it's fine. But that's like a sin in this community to think that this movie is only fine. So
fair enough.
Sorry, talking my way. I guess this is Scully's turn to disappoint me next. So go ahead. What's your 11?
I don't know if I will disappoint you because my 11 is the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight.
Big yikes! Next episode.
Yikes! Next. Well, yeah. Yikes! Next.
I'm
sorry.
Well,
I heard the word interrogation. I'm like, nope.
It's not a big yikes. It's literally one step away from it. But I understand your point. Well, no, I'm not saying it's number 1 or anything, but I'm saying it's on the next episode. We're not going 7 weeks from now.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It could be 10 tomorrow. Next week it'd be 1 away. All right. Robert, close this out. What was the last one that you cut
number 11
out of your top 10?
I opened this episode with an opening scene of a film.
Big hero
I'm closing it with I'm closing this episode also with an opening scene. It's the opening scene of Infinity War. It's the Thanos' attack on Thor's ship in Infinity War. I'm the only one who has this? Holy shit. All right. This scene is incredible. Like I said, I love opening scenes. Puts you straight in, no fluff. You get Loki and Heimdall's deaths. You get you think about the Asgardian deaths. You have Thanos beating the shit out of Hulk in a boxing match, which is everything that I ever wanted to see in any movie ever. Thanos is intimidating immediately. You get Ebony Maw's speech. You get Thanos with the classic trail line, I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, but to fail all the same. And it is maybe the best shot, well, probably not, but close to the best shot scene of the film. The cinematography, it just puts you in the scene right away. The effects are incredible. The Hulk versus Thanos fist fight is spectacular. You see that Thanos has already taken Xandar. I'm glad they didn't put that scene in the movie. I'm glad that it was just, he shows up, he's got a stone already. That's exactly what we need. Like I said, Loki and Heimdall's deaths are both incredible. No resurrections this time. Kill away as he's putting the power stone to Thor's temple. Man, this scene is incredible. This scene gives you Thanos for the first time. This scene is Thanos for the first time, and this scene is incredible. I love it.
I'm gonna get this totally wrong, so I'm just gonna say it right now. I do love this scene. Is amazing. What's the guy that goes and puts the thing over Thor's mouth? What's the character name?
Ebony Maw. That's
Ebony Maw.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ebony Maw is that's the first introduction of that character that I like. Just giving this entire speech to all these people that have just died to the hands of Thanos. Loki basically uses we have a Hulk against Thanos, basically.
I love that fight.
And then gets wrecked. Basically ruins Hulk the rest of the movie. Yeah, I think this scene is actually incredible, especially with the different stuff Thanos' basically lines to Loki, you failed before, blah, 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 what? And then he has the knife and just stabs, and you see the break, and then he uses the power one more time to send him off the ship before it destroys. But that entire thing is just so cool. Yeah, I agree. I think the scene is – this movie kicks you – I just remember watching it for the first time, oh, my gosh, like this is literally where we're starting. Like this is gross, but it's awesome. So I don't, again, don't know if it's this high, but I understand. Why did no one else have the scene?
Here's my thing: is that if you watch the end credit scene of Thor and you see the shot of Thanos' ship coming towards them. When I was waiting to see the movie, I kind of predicted what was going to happen in this scene. I kind of knew from like the trailers and from the post credit scene that Thanos was going to attack, some shit was going to go down, Hulk was going to end up on Earth, Heimdall and Loki probably die. It feels like it was a very predictable scene. I think it's executed so really well. But the thing for me is that I like for a scene to not be so predictable. I feel like that I definitely predicted what was going to happen before it actually happened. I still love what the scene does. I love Ebony Maw's speech and it's the way he reacts to everything. Then Loki's "We have a Hulk" line, fantastic. But all in all, it was a little predictable, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, it really great opening. You know, I guess like I don't know, it just didn't stick out, you know, as much as all of my other great picks I've had today. But anyways, I do really enjoy this scene, and you know, it's one of those ones that if I would have spent that much more time on my list, I probably would have included either one of these or some of the others, but this one is definitely a very standout scene in this film.
So I kind of agree with Scully in the like predictability of it. I have a quick pitch, might be slightly unrelated, but I think it's pretty related. I don't love that end credit scene from Thor. I think the reason I don't like it is because of what it does to this scene. It sort of telegraphs what's coming. Imagine instead of that, we get a scene with like Glenn Close and John C. Reilly on Xandar, and then you get Thanos' ship like in the sky over Xandar, and then it cuts. We don't need to see like the attack on Xandar, but like that's where it cuts. Then I think this opening scene has a lot more of an effect because I agree. If the scene was alone, I hadn't seen any trailers. I hadn't seen
not as low as me.
I hadn't seen any trailers. If I hadn't seen other prior movies. I'd probably agree because especially the Thanos v Hulk fight, it's dope. When Hulk's like kicking his ass and then Ebony Maw's like, let him have his fun. And then it's so good. And I also agree that I think this is as much of an introduction to Ebony Maw as it is to Thanos. I sort of wish the problem is the rest of the movie, or not necessarily a problem, but the rest of the movie is sort of like Thanos, not Ebony Maw sort of like trails off from there. I wish they did that with the rest of the Black Order, but they didn't. So it's whatever. But yes, I agree. The reason it's a great scene, but the reason I didn't include it is because of what Scully said in terms of it being sort of predictable. I knew this is where Loki bites it. This is where Heimdall bites it, only because I've seen trailers. They're not in any of the other trailers. They're not in the rest of the movie after this scene. But other than that, great scene.
Okay, we've made it. We are one episode away from deciding who is correct and who is totally wrong. I have a hint, but the winner of tonight's episode, man, he was about to win. He really was. He had "I'm Batman," but he just failed. Nick TWOHIG'S back in the winner circle this week. TWOHIG wins. I think it was close between Robert and him. Basically, you both had really good lists, and probably a tie if I'm going to being honest with you guys. But like you had the Murray Franklin one that's a special pick for me. We haven't talked about some of your ones, but the highway fight out being that high, I agree with you 100%. Here, Cap, makes sense for you as a person. That's where I give a little leniency because that makes sense. If you didn't have that scene, I'd be kind of confused about you as a person, as much as I know of you. Second's Robert. Robert was really close. I think the Thanos fight was just a little too high. Maybe Doc Ock was a little too high too. I think if you put Argentina Barr fight like at 11, I think you'd probably win this episode clear. But I understand why you put things there. You also had the bank heist, the plane heist, so it's more of a tie, honestly. We haven't talked about Deadpool yet, but people know how I feel. Next is Thomas Scully. Thomas, we didn't get to interrogation, but I can tell you where you went wrong, but it is in red and it's number 12. But we'll leave it there. And then last place. Last place. Oh God, it's even in the background. I killed myself. You had the montage of Big Hero 6 that also didn't help you on this one. You had one scene that I didn't see. I'm going to be honest with you. If you would have kicked off your top 2 and changed into something else and didn't say yikes when you said yikes, and you had This Is Sparta, I'm going to be honest with you, you could have won this episode because that scene makes – I need to go watch 300 right now. That scene was totally – yikes that are coming up. I don't know if he's updated this. Yeah, I think so. Basically, we can see where the scenes are going. We'll see where it all shakes out tomorrow, next week. Next week's going to be a lot of fun. We're probably going to trade one scene apiece, basically, till we get through it. Just because it's, again, you guys are doing really good with talking. It's not going as long as top 100, so I appreciate that. But then, and if you guys are still here, look at the episodes. I've already got some lists coming in, which I appreciate for the new future episodes. The first week that we are doing it is going to be movies under 40%. Please do the research yourself. I don't want to have to call you out on the episode because you put a 41% movie on there. I just do your research. Tell me what they are. And when I say do the research, Koho's going to do the research, and I don't need Koho in my DMs bitching me out that somebody put something that's not under 40%. Believe me, I don't pay the man. I'm just giving him a 2-month vacation. So please do your job. Look it up for me. The next week after that, we're doing best movie protagonist, best movie characters, basically. No villains. We're just doing other characters. So basically make sure you send your list in there, top 10. And then the final one is holiday movies. I already got some on there. There's a lot of options. I didn't even think of some. I only have one confirmed for holiday because I locked it in during this episode. It's Kaleb Boatman. Kaleb Boatman will be on the show. He he pretty much opened my eyes to how many holiday movies actually exist out there. So so please submit your list if you want to be on. Hitting the Facebook page soon will be top 40. The next top 40 series. Me and Koho are going to talk after this episode about some ideas that we can do. But yeah, thank you all for being on. I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you for bringing in those takes, even though you got ripped apart. You handled it well. That's how you do the show. That's how you take it. Believe me, nothing's personal, but everything's personal. So everybody have a good night. I'll see you next week.
My God, what just happened?
You better lawyer up, asshole, because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
Get what you fucking deserve!
Return to your lady friend. Duncan, please return to your lady friend.
Long live the king.
Hasta la vista, baby.